interesting. Yeah.
Oh, we can mute it on this end. And to say that the old link is
Testing.
Canterbury. Good job. Go get your sound running.
So now we want to flip the team to two.
Yeah, well,
That's the live one.
We got volume. We got volume.
Stephen over there. Well, just solve the sound issue first, and then
Apologies if it is working. We're just having some technical difficulties.
As long as it's already going.
And now we've got.
Yeah, or else it's double play.
We're good to go now?
He's out.
Alright, let's try this one more time. I'd like to welcome everybody that's going to tune in and watch on the live stream, and also those that watch the replay later on today, tomorrow, or whenever it may be. We are down here in beautiful sunny Wellington for the Little League qualifier. 3 teams in the championship is Canberra, Wellington and Auckland. Currently in the semi-final match between Canberra and Wellington.
Canterbury.
Oh, Canterbury. My apologies.
Nobody wants to lie.
We have only just gotten to the bottom of the first inning, and Canterbury have put up 11 runs. Wellington got some chasing, some catching up to do.
It's like a reverse game like yesterday. Yesterday, Wellington put up 12 in the first inning.
So first to step up to the plate for Wellington, number 6, Aaron Gong.
You never know, Harper! Come here, come here, come here!
First pitch, first swing, first out of the inning.
Hot shot to the first baseman. First pitch.
Just working effectively. Brings up the plate for Wellington, Nino. Plays for Central Baseball. It's his second year playing baseball. At 12 years old, gets himself a hit up the middle. Safe at first. First pitch to Mason Carey is a ball. Good solid swing there. Fouls it off. 1-1. So team in 2018 Ripken non-traveling team. Pass ball. Nino takes second. Again, Wellington looking to do some catching up. An 11-0 deficit through 1 inning. Mason takes ball 4. There's just runners at first and second, 1 out. Another pass ball sees the runners move around. Runners at third and second. Another ball on the dirt. 0-2. On the mound for Canterbury is Jaden Potts. Hard hit ball on the ground between short and third. Runner comes in from second and safe at home. 2-run RBI double there.
The beast with the logo. Bounce is good. Bounce is good.
Just a little background on the Canterbury pitcher, Jaden Potts from Breen's Intermediate. It's his first year playing baseball. Team captain as well. Born in Denver, so baseball should be in his blood.
I can throw an update score, but I'm not really sure if you can call that.
I know. That's right. It's Ricky. He swears more than I do, me.
Wellington's
Fastball in there for a strike. It's Cooper hitting the can. Watches the ball low. Delayed, decides to go. Safe. Third baseman unable to handle that ball on the one hop.
Cover the play on the pass ball, David. Cover the play on the pass ball.
A little bit of moisture out there on the field today, making it a little more difficult to control the ball. It's ball 3. Count 3-1. Good swing there by Cooper. So Cooper battling hard now, full count. Not sure Cooper thought that one was in there. I don't think anybody did, except for the home plate umpire, but that's baseball.
Come on, Logie! Stop. Go get him, Logie.
Logan, aka.
So at the plate, we have Logan Woolley, the replacement pitcher. Came in the middle of the first inning. Ground ball to first baseman, apologies, to retire the side. So that takes us to the top of the second inning. 11 to Canterbury, to Wellington. So just a reminder, folks, this is the Little League qualifier tournament between Wellington, Canterbury and Auckland. The first game today on Sunday, currently being played out, is between Wellington and Canterbury. Winner of this will go on to play the final against Auckland. The winner of that game goes to Korea for the Little League World Series. It's the first time that we've had this tournament in Wellington, so a lot of excitement down here. These kids are amped, and the opportunity to go and represent your country is obviously something any athlete strives for. Quick shout out to our sponsors: Strike Entertainment Centre, Crick HQ, Polaris Trust, Lanes Bar and Bowling, NZ Travel Brokers, Hutt Valley Hornets, RBS Construction and Roofing, and Hire Master. Your vision, our experience. First up in bat for Canterbury is Josh Bridemeyer, the left fielder. First offering from Woolley is a strike, swung on and missed. The biggest challenge for these young men is learning how to pitch. It's not an easy talent to develop, especially when first learning. So all credit to these boys getting up on the mound and having a go. And that's strike 3 for Woolley to retire the first batter who's faced this inning. Brings up to bat number 12, second baseman Riley Tammet. First pitch is a ball in the dirt from Woolley. Another ball low on outside. Brings the count to 0-2.
And the runner does like a loop and Logan tried to reach for him.
Third pitch in there for a strike. Brings the count to 2-1. Just a reminder to you folks at home, if you're wanting to come out and watch some baseball here in Wellington, 11:30 today is the final between the winner of Game 1 here on Sunday and Auckland. Sure to be a cracker of a match. So Riley wears one on the inside of his elbow and takes a free base. Brings up to bat number 14, Kelby Smith. First pitch in there, a ball. Kelby squaring around, bunt.
All right, let's go. Strike one.
Ball 2.
Shot like it.
I don't know if that's coffee.
2-0 pitch from Woolley's in there for a strike.
Hey, low.
Ball 3 for the right fielder, Kelby Smith.
Yeah, lovely. Good stuff, like it.
Battling back there is Woolley. Strike in there to bring the count full. And ball 4 sees Kelby take first base. Because Canterbury runners on first and second, 1 out. The leadoff hitter, Harper Ford, the third baseman after that. First pitch is in there for a strike. 0-1. High fly ball to right field and caught by the right fielder.
We got a guy there.
That's 2 down for Wellington. Great swing there by the lead-off batter. Unfortunately, straight down the throat of the right fielder for Wellington. Brings up shortstop Kai Sato. Hard hit ball on the ground, fielded cleanly by the shortstop of Wellington to retire the side. Much better inning there from Wellington. Baseball managing to get out of the inning without any runs scored. Just the umpires for today's game, the semi-final for the Little League qualifier. Behind the plate is Michael Smith. First base is KG Matsumoto, and at shortstop third, or second base third, is Michael Vucevic.
Look at the wall structure. It's nice. Give some intel to the fans about that.
Currently warming up the pitcher for Canterbury is Nate McDonald, the development officer down in Canterbury Baseball. One of the most excitable human beings I've ever witnessed in my life. I'm sure you've heard him on the microphone already in the background. Nate is an excellent coach, and one of the reasons that Canterbury Baseball is still up and running.
No, they'd be like, did I just see it?
Shout out.
And that brings us to the bottom of the second inning. Current score is 11-2 to Canterbury. A busy first inning by the boys in red.
Hey, Willie.
Saw 11 runs cross the plate.
Willie.
So the lead-off batter for
Jaden Harris.
Wellington is Jaden Harris. I've got number 14 on my papers, but currently wearing number 31. The right fielder for Wellington, making a great catch in the last half of the inning. Excellent pitch in there, bringing in the heat. Anytime the ball doesn't have an arc on it, you know it's got some speed behind it. Breaking off a curveball high in the zone, bring the count 1-2. My apologies, 2-2. Brings the heat again low on the strike zone for strike 3 to retire the first batter of the inning.
And big games.
Jaden Potts bringing the heat in inning number 2. Facing the second hitter for the inning for Wellington, third baseman Herbert Chatanya. Apologies, the handwriting that I've got from my sheets isn't the greatest. Good swing, foul.
Yeah, 30 on the moment.
Jaden Potts seemingly relaxed out there after that first inning. A lot smoother delivery. The flame-throwing heat. All of 5'4" that kid throwing.
Bubbles.
So anyone can run there.
Oh, beautiful curveball. Put a good swing on. And error by the third baseman. Sees him reach first.
Time first. The runner's nickname is Bubbles.
So I've just been informed that the runner on first, his nickname is Bubbles. I'm going to use that for the rest of the game, seeing as I can't read his actual name off the lineup card.
That's why.
And up to bat, we currently have Everett Parker, the catcher for Wellington Baseball. Oh, big swing at a high fastball. in there for a try.
Hey, come on, Everett.
So Everett plays for the Hutt Valley Hornets. 12 years old, and this is his 5th year of baseball here in New Zealand.
Come on, Everett.
One of the seasoned veterans for the club. And a good solid swing. Anytime you foul the ball straight back, your timing is on.
He just threw it back. He just threw it back. He said. He just threw it back.
Come on, Everett.
Good breaking ball there by Jaden Potts.
There's a runner up first.
He's dropped third.
Stupid, boys. That's stupid. Don't worry about him. Oh, no. He's out. He's out.
So the situation that's just unfolded here, ladies and gentlemen watching at home. The drop third strike with a base occupied first base. The batter is automatically out unless there are 2 outs.
Two outs.
Now, because they chased the runner that was already out, the runner that's on base is then free to progress around the bases, and
Batter was out, drop strike 3, base occupied, he didn't want to make him out. But we let him run anyway because the other runner was scoring.
The other runner
Scores.
scores, but that
But the
runner
batter
was
was
out.
out.
Batter was out.
The game continues.
Wellington chipping away at that 8-run deficit, 9-run deficit, currently 11-3. 2 down, brings up to the plate, the leadoff hitter for Wellington baseball, number 6, Aaron Gone. Apologise to anyone watching at home if I do mispronounce or get wrong the names of some of these players. The handwriting I'm going off is often not very legible. Big swing by the number 6, line drive to centre field. That got out there in a hurry for an easy single there for the shortstop Aaron. Wellington working on a 2-down rally now, brings up to plate number 15, the centre fielder Nino Mason. Nino Mason standing as one of the taller players in today's game. Plays for Central. 2nd year of baseball. Big swing there, first pitch. Count. No balls, 1 strike. Starting to get a little bit of a crowd down here, folks. The rain has stopped. The sun's trying to come out. So if you've got nothing to do on a beautiful Sunday, head out and watch some great baseball. The future of sport here in New Zealand. A hard line drive to right field by Nino. Runner from first, round second into third. Nice and easy. And that 2-down rally continues for Wellington baseball. I'm not sure if we've got hot dogs down here, folks. I'm sure they've got some hot food if you want to bring the family down. A little bit of a barbecue atmosphere. Enjoy some free sports. Up to plate now for Wellington, number 12, the first baseman, Mason Carey. A big swing there, fouls it straight back. Brings the count to 1-1.
Good, mate.
Ball low and outside. Jaden Potts working quickly up there on the mound, making sure the hitters don't get their timing in too deep. That's ball 3 for Mason. 3 balls, 1 strike. Ground ball straight back at the pitcher. Jaden delivers to first and retires the side without taking too much damage. And so that brings us to the top of the third inning of the semi-final for the Little League qualifiers here in windy Wellington.
Introduce you to the Renaissance man. He's coming out. His brother's thinking about coming out to join the Tuatara catcher.
All right.
Likes what he sees.
He's involved.
Once he migrates the whole
Talk
family
to
out.
Chris about the year, you know, season.
So I'm sure you picked that up there
He'll
watching
know a
at
lot of
home.
these players.
I'm currently being joined by the Renaissance man, Renaissance Chris Richards. How you doing, bud?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So the Renaissance Rich that came about, you were a retired ball player. You've been coaching for several years now, and then decided to strap it on for the Tuatara, and ended up being one of the best players on the team.
I don't know about best player.
All right, I'm telling you right now, by far one of the better players on the team.
That's a stretch, but yeah. No, I hadn't played in a while. Came out and just happy to be able to play again and not pull all my muscles.
First pitch in there is for a strike.
This is pretty exciting watching these young kids go at it.
Yeah, and so that's another thing is you've been down here developing the baseball for the last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, for the past 2 years.
2 years, and this is basically part of the process of what you've been doing and what you've been trying to build. Working with Baseball New Zealand and Wellington Baseball.
Yeah, it's been exciting. It's been slow, but I mean, look, 2 years ago, none of this was here. It started off with a bunch of softball kids, and now look at them. They look like a little professional team with their, professional uniforms and fitted hats. It's awesome. It's amazing, and they're playing on TV.
Yeah, that's the beauty these days. You can get everything on Facebook and YouTube. But how do you feel the talent has progressed here in Wellington and this Wellington baseball team?
Oh man, there's a lot of raw talent out here. Just kids have grown up. Mom and dad have played softball, so they know the idea of diamond sport. Baseball and softball obviously are two completely different games, but they understand it. They watch it on TV. But there are a lot of talented kids, as you can see. A lot of strong kids. Yeah. I'm still waiting for that first home run.
So Jaden Potts, the pitcher for Canterbury Baseball, walks as the leadoff hitter for the top of the third inning.
Look at this. They're going to bunt. Wow.
They've been squaring around for every at-bat when a runner gets on base, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tactic behind this?
I wouldn't be butting this guy. I'd be swinging away.
It's been a lot of squaring around to put off the pitcher. I think that's the mentality of that crosses over from another sport.
Yeah, they just, I guess, make him throw a strike, but I'm swinging away right here.
Yeah.
I'm up by 8 runs.
8 runs.
Yeah, I'm swinging for that tree in center field.
So Willie, with a solid inning last inning, struggling to throw strikes this inning. And that's the second consecutive walk for Willie. Put runners on first and second with nobody out. So I think one other thing I've been told I need to mention is you're a world record holder for throwing and catching an egg. Is that correct? Well, I mean, I would know.
Yeah, you would know.
I'm the other guy.
You're the other guy. You're the one who got it.
But I gotta play the
little self-promotion right there. Yeah.
But so just to fill the people in at home, what exactly is the record for, and what is the professional recorded?
Oh, look at that.
Down runners on first and second. That's textbook baseball, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's right. Look at that.
Excellent job there by the catcher to get the runner out at first. But
that was an amazing bunt. But I'm still not about that. Like, you just gave him an out. Kid swing away. He already has 2 hits on the day.
I like to manufacture runs like these age groups when you don't have players that can consistently deliver hits.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Ball high in the air. Second baseman manages to stay under it. We'll call the second out of the inning.
There we go. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is my nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, junior sports or in junior baseball, it's all a nightmare really when you're trying to teach kids how to do things at this age group.
Yeah, I mean it's good, but let's see if they score a run here. If they get a hit, it pays off for them.
2 outs though.
Yeah, exactly. But
The perfect bunt though.
It was a great
Perfect
bunt.
sacrifice.
It was a great bunt, but I'm swinging away.
Yeah, but let's be realistic. You're amazing at the plate. I tell you, there was a few times watching with a group of people while you guys were in Australia on that long tour, and there's a couple of clutch situations you came up to bat, and I put some money down with people and won every single time. And I'm talking $50 bets. And
Oh, well, I want 10%.
yeah, I'll buy you a few tonight at the lanes. Mind you, I was told it was your shout, so.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, swing there over shortstop. That's all we talk about, ladies and gentlemen. There's that manufactured run. Chris Richards doesn't like it.
There we go. It paid off.
But we're gonna run across the plate. So
There we go. Well done.
But
Well
I
done.
mean,
2 out
I guess
clutch hitting.
the thing for me, it's good to see them trying to do these fundamental things. But if you have a 9-run lead, why are you trying to attack on 1-2 runs, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it is little league. You never know if they're going to throw a strike or field
And
the
each
ball.
inning you could give up 20 runs, and with
That's
the way
very
pitching
true.
can be,
It's very true.
you know, it's an age group where you're not a grown man, grown woman. Your body isn't fully developed, so throwing a baseball consistently over for a strike, I mean the strike zone is quite small. It's no easy task for these players.
Yeah, for sure. But it's all about, in this league, it's all about being able to throw strikes.
So anyways, let's go back to this world record. So last year you went down to the NZ Rural Games in Palmerston North. I believe it was me who dragged you down there.
Yeah, that's right.
I said to the organizer of the event, I said, I've got a guy that can throw a baseball further than anyone in New Zealand. I'm going to bring him down. So the world record is the longest thrown and then caught raw egg without breaking. And what was the record that we originally broke down in
I
Palmerston?
think it was, what, like 89 meters or something?
86.9
86,
meters.
that's right.
It's 85.96 or something like
Yeah,
that.
we broke that, and then
And then, yeah, because of that, they sent us to England to compete in the World Championship for egg throwing of all things.
yeah, can you believe that?
So,
Hey, but this year we get to go back and break it, and then we get to go catch a Yankees-Red Sox game.
the Yankees and Red Sox are playing in London in June as a MLB promotional tour event. I mean, what better series to take to the UK than the biggest rivalry in baseball?
That's right. Then we get to go see.
Just go close to the mic.
Yeah, so June of this year we'll be going over trying to break our record again.
Yeah, maybe see Didi again.
Yep.
Didi, as many of you know, came to Wellington, came to New Zealand
He
2
did.
years ago.
So Didi's still in contact with us down here in New Zealand. He sent a nice little message of support and encouragement to our under-15 team last year, showing that coming out here wasn't just a promotional trip for himself or to pretend to look like he cares. He genuinely does, and we're very lucky in New Zealand to have these opportunities to get these kids to experience these professional ball players that are at the highest level in sport.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe he'll throw an egg. He throws like 95 across the diamond.
I've seen him throw like 99.
Yeah, he's got one of the strongest arms for sure.
Actually, he posted
a boy.
retiring third out for the inning there with a strikeout for Wooly. Yeah, he posted on Instagram the other day a throwback to, I think it was a AAA game. Ball up the middle, he's playing a shift to the left side of the field. It's a dive. He rolled after fielding the ball, and as he's rolled and ended up, he's still on his butt, he's thrown an absolute seed to first base to get out. I mean,
that's why he's one of the best infielders.
And hopefully he stays healthy and manages to stick around for quite a long time. I mean, his predecessor.
We don't want the Yankees to win, do we?
Well,
We want him to do well.
Baseball
but we don't
needs
want
it.
the
I mean, it's the biggest brand in the world. It's everywhere you go, everyone knows what a Yankees hat is.
That's true. That's very true. But
but us being actual players and people of the sport, we don't like that they buy their wins, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Well, for me, growing up in the States, it was either the Braves or it was no one else. But Yankees, it was anyone but the Yankees. That's usually how it works out.
Let's say I grew up, admiring Greg Maddox, and then that whole pitching staff of the Braves during that era with John Smoltz, Johnny Rocker.
John Rocker.
The pitching coach for those boys, as well as someone I've looked up to, with his theory of arm care and stuff like that. what he was teaching to those guys that just pitched for decades without having any time off or any downtime due to injury was to throw more often with less effort. Instead of going out and training and throwing as hard as you can.
And that's something we could implement throughout the country, because it's one of the biggest things with a lot of these kids is
the arm conditioning isn't there.
And the proper mechanics of throwing. And that's one of the, when I first
you
came
can't
here
have
2
proper
years
mechanics
ago.
as well if you're not strengthening up enough in the arm. So if you're not throwing enough and you're trying to work on the mechanics, your arm doesn't have the strength to repeat the same mechanic over and over again, which is ultimately what good pitching comes from. Great first pitch there by Potts.
He's got some good mechanics on that.
He does. He very natural motion. I mean, the first inning, I think he was just getting a feel for it, kind of trying to just throw him off the strikes. He's come out and throw a few little heaters in there. Got a little breaking ball when he snaps it off. But yeah, it's
broad shoulders for a little kid. Holy crap! Oh,
Yeah, you can come in the next year. You don't have to wait. But if you throw more than 19,
that's something our players, and I mean, it's not just in baseball, it's every sport, is when we grew up as kids, when our whole generation grew up as kids, we didn't have video games, or we weren't allowed to watch TV for 8 hours at a time, and so it was the sport that you enjoyed playing. You didn't just do it at training and the game, you did it every afternoon at school, you did it at school during lunch breaks. You know, any chance you got, you're out there trying to get better or prove to somebody that you could be better. These days, I mean, it doesn't help in New Zealand during the winter that it rains 99.9% of the time, and kids can't get outdoors to do these sorts of things.
or in Wellington in the summer.
Yeah.
No, but it does. I mean, for these kids, you know, especially with the Tuatara now, you know, they have some guys they can relate to, and you know, maybe one day they can.
And that's it with the Tuatara. It's a real dream for these kids now. It's not, you know, the dream of playing in the MLB, which is, you know, it can seem like a far-fetched dream for a kid from Hutt Valley or Putarua, you know. Now the Auckland Tuatara are in the league. These kids, they see you playing. You've worked with them for the last 2 years, and oh, look, Chris is on TV now playing professional baseball. I can do that, because if Chris can do it, I'm better than Chris.
Yeah, that's right.
I can do it.
Doesn't take much.
Yeah.
Nice that he's using that slider well.
Jaden Potts is doing an excellent job here for Canterbury. So all the pitchers need to do at this age group is just throw the ball over the plate, let the hitters do what they do. You've got 7 guys behind you, 1 guy in front of you. And the field is significantly smaller as well, so getting balls into areas where there's not a fielder is quite difficult. Awful.
Yeah, very good. But yeah,
High and foul.
it is all about throwing strikes. You can throw the ball over, that's it, but that's at any level.
Yeah.
I mean, in any diamond sport, you can just throw some strikes. Usually the hitter gets themselves out.
Time is the ball.
And it's, I mean, you see a lot of it in the early stages of professional baseball, like rookie ball, A ball. You get these kids that throw 99 to 105 miles an hour. They don't.
Stay on that.
So we got an athlete on the mound. Jaden Potts
he's doing it all. One man show there.
deciding to put the team on his shoulders.
Maybe pitchers are athletes.
12-3. He's not happy.
Yeah, bringing in the big 1-3. It is with these little league rules. I like them because everyone's got to get in. They have to contribute, and then from a managing standpoint, you have to be able to, you know, think ahead and how you're going to utilize these players. You know,
Yeah, it's also good for the safety of the kids as well. I mean, back in the days when the rules were a lot looser on how many pitches you could throw as a pitcher and over how many days and how much game time each player is supposed to have. You could see pitchers out there throwing 100 pitches one day and then 80 pitches the next day, and then wondering why his rotator cuff has a 3 mil displacement in the socket. You know, it's
speaking from experience, I'm assuming.
There's always going to be players on the team that stand out amongst the rest of them, and you know, taking away the ability of a coach to use and abuse that player's talent to win games. I mean, it makes the games more interesting, evens the playing field out, but it also protects the child's future in terms of his injury prevention.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things we have to look out for, is making sure that, you know, kids don't throw too much, but it's also it's great to have them on YouTube, but they're kids.
Yeah.
Just let them play.
All right, that brings us to the bottom of the third inning. 12 runs to 3 to Canterbury. Wooly continuing out on the mound for Wellington baseball. Now, Chris has just been here having a chat with us. We're going to sign him off for the moment, basically because I need a coffee.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I gotta get a coffee run. That's what I gotta do.
See, the coaches here in New Zealand, we're all rounders. We don't just do my job. So, high, big fly ball out to right centre field there, misjudged by the centre fielder. Goes down as an error. The runner making it all the way to third base for Canterbury. Great call there at first base. The runner beating out the throw from third. Brings in the run for Canterbury. I'm joined here by Thomas DeWolf, who has been brought in down here at Wellington to help grow the game alongside Chris Richards and Regan Woods and the rest of the team they've got down here doing the hard yards to bring this beautiful game of baseball to sunny Wellington. So give us a little background on yourself, Thomas. Your baseball background, and then you're also not from New Zealand, you're from Belgium?
Yes, I am.
Long way from home?
Yes, I was born and raised in Belgium, and
just
that's a
big
big drive.
Fly ball over the head of left field, it bounces up the fence for a ground rule double.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Belgium, and started very young, like 4 years old with baseball, and fell in love with the game, understood the game real quick, and got opportunities. I'm 29.
29, so
yes.
12 years old you started this?
No, I was started 4.
4 at 4. So
yeah.
At the age of 4 in Belgium, how big was baseball in comparison to this?
As big as this, basically.
So,
yeah, we just had diamonds, like real baseball
You
fields.
had parents basically wanting their kids to play and enjoy baseball, and they were facilitating it. Cool.
Yep. So yeah, no, I started at a young age, understood the game real quick, and got the opportunity to play for the Belgian national team and travel a little bit on a young age, and got noticed by a couple scouts on the way, and and then I had a chance to sign when I was 17. I signed with the New York Mets, and played there for 4 years, and afterwards I just made my career in Europe, basically.
Yep.
Excellent
piece of batting there. Hard ground ball through the third baseman, through the left field, round second base, brings in 2 runs.
Nice. Good cut for relay too.
Canterbury coming in with a 2-run double.
Good cut for relay. Nice.
Yeah, I'll grab that actually. So you talk about you started at the same in growth in baseball in a small country, a non-baseball country, just like we are here in New Zealand.
Exactly.
And I mean, you stuck out, you stuck with it, and you developed the skills, you developed the knowledge,
Yep.
and you represented your country. And obviously was scouted by the Mets to go and play professional baseball. Now, you know, a lot of people, when I tell them I play professional baseball, I play for San Diego Padres. It's an organization. You have the major league team, and then the organization has 6 levels of reserve grade teams underneath.
Exactly.
Now, just a little bit of insight on professional baseball and Major League Baseball. It's the percentage of players that sign a professional contract that make it to the top is about 5.7%.
Yeah, not much, not many.
And then the amount of those players that manage to stay there for longer than a year is something like 10-15%. So it's a big dream to chase. But then those 4 years of playing minor league baseball, do you compare that? Would you say that experience is second to none in terms of what a sport will provide to you?
I mean, yeah, they don't spoil you in minor leagues like they do in the big leagues with money. Basically, you know how it is. But
in terms of baseball,
it is amazing.
Experience?
Yeah, it is amazing. They teach you the same things. You get major league coaches coming down to just teach you all the small intel that you need to look for to help you with baseball. Because baseball is, as you know, it's the hardest sport basically in the world.
I've been playing the game for 28 years.
Exactly, yeah. You fail 7 out of 10 and you're one of the best players.
And the game keeps evolving too. I mean, we see these launch angles taking off really big. I'm not a big fan of it because you're teaching kids to swing up on a pitch that's coming. Everyone's got their own opinion, but everyone's trying to pick apart the game to win, because if you're in the major leagues, winning means millions upon millions of dollars.
It's all about staying consistent in my eyes. If you stay consistent and you do your job right.
You've got these superstars, the people that have been all-stars and Hall of Famers that have done the fundamental things the same for the last 100 years. And then they're trying to say, well, no, this is going to be the better way. Well, how can you say that when you've got these guys that are continuing to hey, makes it out at first. Still brings across the run for Canterbury.
Yeah, I mean, for me, for all those Hall of Famers or guys who just like stay there for like 10 years, let's say 20 years, like some guys do, it's just like they've found something that works for them to stay in the same rhythm, the same groove.
And they stay healthy.
And they stay healthy. Healthy is the biggest. That's the biggest thing, because I work now for Wellington Baseball, and we work with Gavin Cross. And for the people who don't know who Gavin Cross is, he works with NBA players. He's
the Tall Blacks.
Yeah, he's a Tall Blacks. He does Steve Adams in the off season. You know, OKC.
Great guy too.
Yeah, he's always lovely guy. Always happy, and he's willing to work hard every single time. And yeah, guys like that. If you can work with guys like that, with young kids like this, and the first thing we do is injury prevention. Like that's the first rule we have. Try to stay injury free.
And it's paramount in baseball. And we were talking about with Chris is especially throwing out anything overarm. It's not a natural thing for the body to do. So you need to build the muscles around the shoulder and around the arm to support the arm to do these things.
Exactly.
And
then stay healthy.
The next part of it is successful pitching is repeating the exact mechanics over and over and over again. If you're trying to pitch and your arm slot differs from pitch to pitch, you're not going to have a feel for the ball, and you're not going to be able to consistently throw strikes. And so that injury prevention also helps with your ability as well.
Struck him out, blew him by.
Wooly retiring the third out of the inning with a strikeout swinging.
Yeah, the injury prevention is very important in baseball, and when you're young, yes, like you don't really properly warm up, and that's just because you're young and you're still flexible and you don't think about it that much. But the older you get, that's why right now I try to teach these kids, like, you have to do a proper warm up. It's not for now, it's for the future, because you're gonna have to learn how to do it, because you're only gonna get older and your muscles are still growing. So you have to maintain them the right way so you can stay fit for as long as you can to play the beautiful sport of baseball. So
it's
I've been trying to stay healthy I played 11 years professional baseball now. I just stopped for 1 year for personal reasons. The only thing I had is a little hamstring, a little hot weather, a lot of doubles.
Well, I mean, I never had a sore arm or an injury
never. Me neither.
I think I was 19 or 20, my first year of professional baseball. And that was purely because I went from playing in Australia, where you train twice a week with your team, and then you play twice on the weekend. and then you go into professional baseball. Spring training is baseball training for 8 hours in the morning, and then you do a 4-hour game in the afternoon, and you do that for 28 days straight without a break.
It's a big difference.
If you're not used to it, and
body,
you don't condition to it, then, and all it was a bit of bone bruising and a bone spur, and it was fixed easily. It wasn't a matter of not being in condition, because I did take care of myself. But the thing that we need, especially in these countries, is baseball can't just be when you're at the field with the team. You've got to be throwing when you're at home.
Yes.
You know, constantly throwing. You don't have to throw as hard as you can, just constantly throwing and throwing.
Let the muscles, repetition, like muscle memory, let them know this is it, this is what we got to do.
And it's an epidemic, and we talked about before through all sports, is, you know, video games and this, you know, Fortnite. I mean, I see more kids now doing these Fortnite dances than I do, you know, trying to do trick shots or, you know, it's just crazy the way the world's working. But
Internet's taken over. Social media.
It has
taken over, yes.
But, yeah, one of my favorite pitching coaches was Braves coach. I keep forgetting his name, but during the Maddox Smoltz era, and his theory is with those guys. I mean, they pitched for a decade without a single injury or time off, and his theory was to throw more often with less effort. And so, I mean, injuries come at max effort with the arm. That's when you're stretching your tendons out too far and you start to wear it out. You know, if you throw more often, without getting to that full flex, you're building the muscle around that tendon, so that when you do go and you're getting out there, you've got that muscle to kind of protect that tendon. So yeah, like, we're basically trying to just drill it into your kids at home if you're watching. Throw the baseball more often. Don't throw it as hard as you can. Just get out front yard with Dad. 15 minutes. Have a throw.
Catch. Have fun. Have fun. That's what it's all about. I remember my first year with the Mets in 2008. First 3 weeks we only had conditioning. It was a winter ball in the Dominican Republic, and we had the first 3 weeks of conditioning, and we didn't even touch a baseball or a glove. We just had to get as fit as possible just in 3 weeks. I remember my first day. Everything came out my breakfast.
Oh man!
And
so Jaden Cox just draws a walk there for the leadoff batter for Wellington. Yeah, it's. I
wasn't ready to put it in words.
When I signed, it was during the off season. I think it was like February, and they sent me a big booklet of the conditioning, strength and conditioning booklet.
Do your job.
And I mean, it's like a 700-page novel. And so I'm reading through it. I was like, man, I can't do all this. And I've got to work a job still. Because, you know?
It's professional life for you.
Yeah, but you get over there, and the first day of spring training, all the pitchers have to run 2.8 miles, and they have to do it. And I think it was under 14 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's tough. It's
a
doable.
Good run. It's a good run.
But if you're not conditioned to running long distance, you're not completing it. Now, if you don't get in the time constraint that they set, you have to do it every morning until you get it. They called it a breakfast club.
Yeah, exactly.
And man, some guys that just didn't have it in them. I mean, some pitchers aren't naturally athletes. Look at Bartolo Colon.
Yeah, they just throw hard. They just know where the ball's going.
And these guys they're killing it every day, missing out. It's still 4 or 5 minutes behind.
But that's why it's the great game. That's why baseball is beautiful in my eyes too, because yes, you don't have to be in the best shape in your body. That's why they ask you, are you in shape when you come to spring training? And you say, body shape or like baseball shape? And they go like, baseball shape. Yeah, if you're in baseball shape, who cares if you can't run? If you can throw the same thing you did last year, you did good. That's what it's all about. You know?
It's very true. And it is the beauty of baseball. And I mean, there's so many different specialty positions in baseball where you can find the one that fits you best. If you're a player that can throw the ball hard but can't swing and hit the broad side of a barn, you can still get a job playing anywhere. You know, if you're a big South American poppy who all you can do is swing a bat and hit home runs, you make millions of dollars doing it. You know, it's a beautiful thing.
Let's get the 3 unassisted play here. This kid's name's Genuine, like the rapper.
Now batting for Wellington is number 3, Fletcher Warren.
Fletcher Warren.
Fletcher Warren with a ground ball through the shortstop. So Fletcher, I believe, is from the Levin Hustle area of Wellington baseball. Plenty of personality on the kid, I know. Sure, I've worked with him a few times, and I mean, how many boys are in that family?
Oh, I don't know. Four?
There's 4 of them, I think.
3 or 4 boys in a girl.
Yeah, when you get 4 boys in a family, you know they know how to take care of themselves, and got a little bit of banter.
Fletcher's dad is the head coach for the Wellington baseball team here.
Another nice hit there by the number 1 hitter, number 6, Aaron Golan.
Oh, first to third action, nice, good base running.
Wellington start the string together some hits.
Hey, good job, Jaden. Good job,
We got catching up to do.
And that's the beauty of baseball too. That's one of the other things I absolutely love about the game is the game isn't over until the last out is recorded.
Yeah, exactly. Yesterday, this game, Wellington-Canterbury, Wellington was up 12-0 in the first inning, and the end score was 21-7.
Yeah.
And you see, it's not every day. Hey, I mean, still the same teams right now, and look at the score. It's a big difference right now.
And
16-4.
It's the beauty for me of it as well is, I mean, you need to manage the game. You can't get a 5-run lead and then go, well, I'm going to throw my worst pitcher out there, and you know just try and breeze by because you can put up
possible in baseball.
Yeah.
It's as much mental as it is physical.
Yeah.
It's what they say. The good old quotes say it. The good old Yogi Berra, right?
Yeah.
It's 90% physical and the other half is mental. It doesn't make sense if you think about it. 90. It doesn't make sense, but we do. We baseball players understand.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are like, no, % left. Like, no, that's not what he means.
Yeah.
It's just as much mental as physical.
And that's where you're seeing difference in teams, especially at like junior level and amateur levels. Is the teams that are still in the game mentally in the 7th, 8th, and 9th are usually the teams that are going to win games. Most teams have the players to put on a good show or play good baseball for the first 5 to 6, and it starts to see a little bit of a drop off. But every game of baseball, you've got to be in it through the last innings. You know, other sports like soccer
Can't lay back. You can't sit back and just watch the game and just like get the outs.
Yeah, well, you can't just sit in your half and kick the ball back and forth between players to run down the clock. You know.
Exactly. Over here, you have to throw the ball over the plate.
You've got to be competing for the win all the way to the end.
There was this guy, George Greer, told me this. His all minor league hitting coordinator for the Cardinals, and he was with the Mets when I was there. And anyway, he told me that you have to give the other team a chance to beat you. And I was like, okay, explain. And he goes like, well, 7, 8, 9 inning, you're up by 5, 6, like you just said. You can't sit back. You have to throw the ball over the plate. That means you have to give the other guy a strike, a chance to hit the ball to beat you. Because if you're not going to throw a ball over the plate, they're not going to swing at him. There's walks, you're going to load bases, and there you go. Just the rest is history then. But, I mean, you have to give the other guy the chance to beat you. And that's why there's a winner and a loser in baseball. We don't do tie games. We compete, and there's always a winner and a loser.
It's something I've always preached to my pitchers, especially when they're learning to pitch or if they're having a bit of trouble, is pitch to contact. At this level, I mean, I always, until I had 2 strikes on the hitter, I was always trying to get them to hit a ground ball. No matter how much I overmatched to the batter at the plate, I was trying to give them a pitch that would more than likely be hit on the ground and would be an out made by my fielders. Now what that does is it takes the mind to a place where you're not trying to throw the ball fine. So what I'm saying is you're not trying to paint the outside corner, or you're not trying to do too much, and you're not afraid of the player swinging the bat. So you're afraid as a pitcher of him swinging the bat and hitting the ball. You're not going to put it in the strike zone. You're going to try and keep it low in the zone, but then miss low. Try and keep it outside, miss way outside. If you go here, hit this, and show me you're better than me, you got to throw strikes.
Plus, that means also you have confidence and trust your team behind you. I mean, there's 8 guys behind you at 7.
And you look out there. There's not a lot of space.
No, it's a game of inches.
Yeah,
not a lot of space. You got to just hit it through it.
And the good old adage, you can't defend a walk.
Yeah, there you go.
Can't defend the walk.
Come on, Mason. Good job.
And Mason Carey, the first baseman,
Oh, pitch.
draws a walk.
Bases loaded.
Bases loaded for Wellington.
That's good. Wellington needs it. 15-4 or something?
Score is currently 16-4.
16-4, yeah.
16 to 5.
16-5, here we go. We have a game, let's go.
Got one down.
Long way to go, one more inning. Yeah, they need the runs.
So just to update everyone at home, the mercy rule of effect is 10 runs after 3 innings, I believe. If one team is up by 10 runs at the end of the 3rd inning, then the game is called. Wellington need to get these 2 runs in just to keep the game going. So.
Go! Good job.
A wild throw by the catcher. Sees a runner from 3rd score.
Hopefully the sun comes through, push through real soon.
They don't know that it's 16-5.
Go, mate. Find
So
some
they think
grass.
that they can give this run.
Find some grass.
But winning by 9 is enough too, right? Just play one more inning, get 3 outs. Is it off?
Runner,
Oh.
runner steals second base. Is in there safe. Not sure the coach wanted him to do so, as they're trying to score this runner at 3rd to keep the game alive.
That's a go. Oh, here we go.
Pass
Here we
ball,
go.
runner comes in.
Runner comes in.
Slides,
and he's
safe.
safe. There we
So
go.
Wellington keep the dream alive here in the
Yes, staying
semi-final.
alive. Still a chance.
Go, Wellington.
You got 10 runs still. Relax.
And this is what we're talking about with these later innings and pitching and depth. I mean, Jaden Potts has done an excellent job all game with the pitching, and obviously he's run out of his pitches that he's allowed to throw legally. And so they have to bring on a new pitcher now, whether they're trying to save their better pitcher for the next game or
Put all the eggs in one basket
Yeah,
for this
or-
game.
yeah,
You know?
just-
They can see what happens the next game. You got to win game 1
it's-
before you got to go
it's-
game 2.
It's a chess match, and
Yep,
and
it
then
is.
you've also got a player come in not a high stress situation, but a situation where he's trying to stop runs from scoring, and anything can happen. First pitch is high over the catcher. Ball 4. Runners at 1st and 2nd.
I think this is getting tough for you. Yes, good lift. Took the card.
Cooper McCann or McLaren at the plate for Wellington baseball. 1-on-1 the count. Runners on 1st and 2nd. Pitcher delivers.
Good boy.
Away.
Ball high and away. Harper Ford on the mound for Canterbury, struggling to find her zone here. Count 3-1 for Wellington, trying to keep this rally alive. Big swing there, full count.
I was talking to Lil Harper there on Friday on the pre-tournament game versus PK. That little warm-up game. And he's from Seattle.
Called strike there for strike 3.
He's an American Kiwi.
Yeah, we got a couple of we got someone from Colorado, Jaden Potts, the starting pitcher was from Colorado.
Harper's from Seattle.
And I mean, you really need kids like that are expats, American expats that parents have moved to New Zealand for whatever, but they they have baseball in their blood.
Yep.
To
Bring the
to
love
show
for
to
baseball.
show
Yeah.
to show these kids
Logan,
what
come on, Logan.
what it's
Head down.
supposed to look like to be passionate
Head
about
down, Logan. Drive
baseball.
one. Come on.
Bring the love for baseball to the people here.
Head down, Logan, and drive one.
There's Logan. They call him the Beast. There's a local
We
boy.
haven't seen a ball make it out of the park on the full yet.
Come on, Logan.
I wouldn't
One
mind
hopper.
if Logan Woolley, the Beast,
The Beast. We've seen a one-hopper
can,
go over the fence,
can
but
fulfill that need.
we said it! We said it! Oh, off the wall! Oh, baseball's beautiful. You just mentioned it. That's
Runs
a
coming
song.
home. Slides, he's safe.
And the Beast goes to third.
The Beast went to third in there. Into the tag. Safe at third.
Good base running all around.
Nice aggressive base running there by Woolley. Sees the throw, goes home, and decides I'm taking every inch of opportunity I can.
We just said it, and
I
he
know.
hits the top of the fence.
Yeah, we wish for it. And, I mean, that ball was more than 12 feet off the ground all the way out to the
Smoked it,
fence.
huh, Moo? He smoked it. Little shout out to Moo.
I'll have to during the break, I'll find out what our bat regulations are for Little League Baseball, because I mean that looks like a big barrel bat, swinging a big boy bat.
Finally got one up and in. Didn't miss it. Big 2-run triple.
So that brings Wellington within 8 runs of Canterbury, cancelling out that mercy rule. Strike 1 for Harper. At the plate, number 7, Jaden Cox.
Yes, Mr. Cox.
Swing ground ball to the second
Clean it
baseman, cleans the field. Fields it cleanly. My apologies, apparently I'm dyslexic. And records the out at first. That takes us to the top of the 4th inning here in the semi-final of the Little League qualifier in sunny Wellington. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have just been joined here by Kiri Shaw and Shah Pawaka, two ex-White Sox players. Just wanted to double check. And both also play professional softball internationally in Europe and Japan now. We just wanted to get them on to talk about their experience. You both have boys playing here this weekend?
No, I've got my son's just a little bit older. He's just turned 13 in December. So yeah, but the Wellington.
And is that Jar?
Zah. Yeah. And yeah, no, it's just cool to come down and see this qualifier. It's awesome.
Yeah. And you do a bit of work with Chris and the guys at Baseball in New Zealand, just helping out.
Yeah, just helping out because I like watching baseball. Actually, I watch softball or baseball. I think there's a really good pathway for our boys, and I like, as a PE teacher, I like the simplicity of the skill that baseball brings. Everyone can throw, whereas just watching young kids in softball as they come up, the whole pitching is quite tough.
We've talked about it already today. That's the difficult thing with the transition, because to be a good pitcher, you need to repeat the same mechanic over and over and over again. I mean, it's the same in softball. You can't just go from baseball and then think you can pitch underarm. If you haven't trained to do it long enough, you can't do it. So you've got the athletes out in the field, and then the thing that is a little bit behind at the moment in New Zealand is our pitching, just because we haven't done it since we were little kids.
It's all that repetitive stuff, isn't it?
It is, it's repeat, and I preach to my players, don't just throw a baseball when you're at training or at the game. You've got to do it at home as well, because it builds the muscle around your arm to be able to throw more and more pitches, throw harder, but also the strength to maintain that same arm slot every single time. And Shah, what brings you down today?
So we're travelling from Canterbury to watch our son, who's part of the Canterbury team.
Awesome.
His name's Raymana Kumaroa.
Yep.
Ooh, nice play.
And was it your sister that got your boy into baseball with Todd?
So their cousin Nico Pawaka came out a few years ago. I think it was about 4 years ago now. He's gone back to Aussie.
He played three consecutive years for the New Zealand Ripken baseball team,
And so Nick and Todd started a club called Redbirds, where a number of the softball boys also went and played baseball. Which is great. It's great to see kids playing both sports. They're similar in some ways. It's all about opportunities, more at-bats, more ground balls, more throws.
And that's been a big thing. Obviously, I've worked for Baseball New Zealand for the past 5 years, and a lot of the heartache that we have is this whole baseball versus softball thing, and why we should do this or why we should do the other, why we're not doing both and giving our kids every opportunity we possibly can to succeed or get something through sport. I mean, for myself, I was able to play professional baseball overseas and experience traveling around the world because of sport, because of baseball. So for you guys having your kids, they grow up playing softball, and now you've got baseball as well, and we've got the Tuatara as well, the professional team in New Zealand.
Oh, nice out. Awesome.
Well, if you're pro opportunities, it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Of course.
And the two sports can complement each other.
And I mean, I've never played softball other than in school as a school sport, but I grew up around a softball field. Mum and Dad are both Kiwis. I was babysat by Dad's junior team that he coached while he's out there playing and Mum's out there playing the whole weekend. And it was just my dad wanted me to play baseball because he saw that there was a better opportunity for me there. Softball, you can play for the Black Sox, which is amazing, but the opportunity to do that isn't yearly. It's every few years they've got their tournaments and championships, and then also professional opportunities through softball for men aren't quite there, are they?
Yeah, and I think you'll see though that mindsets are changing with the whole complementing each other, the two sports, softball and baseball. If you look at this Wellington team, I see all these kids on a softball diamond on a Saturday. So I know around the Wellington, Hutt Valley area, it's like, hey, kids just want to play. They want to play with the ball, they want to catch a ball, they want to hit ball. And if that means it's softball and baseball, I think it's pretty cool.
100%. I mean, I played 7 sports up until I think year 11 or year 12. And it taught me different skills that I could use in baseball as well. Like my agility came from playing soccer and basketball and rugby, and then My endurance came from playing rugby where I'm back and forth, and so those things attributed to my baseball skill set. So why not have these kids outdoors as much as we can, doing whatever we want, and then when they're old enough to make the decision to, I prefer to play this one, I want to do that, cool, go for it, do your thing.
Yeah.
But it's no, it's good. I'm really enjoying seeing the softball families now doing baseball as well as softball and enjoying it and just letting the kids play, which is it's really good to see.
One of the things I saw in my career playing in Europe was I played with a number of females in Italy who grew up playing baseball and then switched across because there wasn't women's baseball.
Yep.
And I tell you what, these women were built, they're very slight Italians, like I'm talking 60 kilos, 64 kilos. But gee, some of those girls had a whole heap of power, which they learnt from baseball and using your whole body to
and I've actually tried to talk to a lot of people about that and telling parents of girls that were like great softball players, have them play baseball as well, because you have to throw the ball further, you have to swing the bat harder, you've got everything's bigger in baseball, and so you get them in playing baseball. They're playing against the boys as well, so you toughen them up, and then when they go back to softball, Beth Reed Taylor, she's a junior at White Sox. She grew up playing baseball. And she was up there at the top with all the boys, and now she's killing it in softball. And it's, you could see it was because she was playing with the boys or playing on the big field. She wasn't afraid of anything when she's playing softball. It was just, it's right on the money with that one.
Well, even if you look at Japan and America, I don't think it's a coincidence that two big baseball nations for men have the cream of the female players and it's just that repetition, that constant fundamentals being taught how to do it
in
properly
Japan,
from the start.
100%. That's where Japan will attribute all their success to, is their fundamental, like it's militant, the way that they operate their sports. You watch a junior baseball practice, there's 100. Have an opportunity to be a professional athlete.
Yeah, and just touching on the Japanese league, I played one season in the pro league, and the girls would go to work from 8 till 12, lunch break, and then train from 2 to 7, same thing, and then we'd have one game on a Saturday, one game on a Sunday, and that was it. I'm like, whoa, all this training for, and even their tournaments are instant elimination. So you go away to play a tournament, you play one game, you're off home again. I'm like, oh my God,
they need the instant
amazing
elimination. I'm sure they'd have hundreds of teams in each tournament.
It definitely makes a difference. I can vouch for that. I've grown up playing against Kitty, all our softball, and Kitty was always a really, really good player, and then when she travelled to Japan and came back, she was just a whole nother level, and internationally just was a real standout.
Yeah, definitely. And it's I was the same with my career. So Australia, we played, once I got to 17, 18, we played maybe 2 or 3 games on the weekend, but trained twice a week. And then I went to my first spring training, and as a pitcher I was throwing 87 to 89, maybe 90 miles an hour, and after 3 weeks of being there I was touching 96, 97 miles an hour. And it's because you do it every day. You're at the field for 8 hours in the morning practicing, and then you got a 4-hour game each afternoon, and you get 1 day off in spring training. It's just, but it's that repetitive and doing things at a professional level as well makes all the difference too. And it's good why when we have guys like Chris and ex-professional ball players come down to teach these kids, because they teach them those core fundamentals of how to do things right. So how do you have with the White Sox now that you guys aren't players? Like, do you come in as consultants at all, or?
I think for me, it's more looking at our youngsters and the girls, so for me, girls part, there is a real pathway. I've actually just got back from the States yesterday morning after taking my daughter to a Div 2 college in Pennsylvania. And so for me, that excites that excites me, the opportunities for our young girls to, carve that college.
And those college opportunities, both for women and men. It's a high fly ball to centre field. Caught by the centre fielder for Canterbury. Yes, so with women's sports in college in the US, if there's a big football program at that school, they have to offset those scholarships that they give to the boys with women's scholarships.
Yeah.
And so they basically throw these scholarships out to fill their quota. Now, for baseball, if I'm an above average baseball player, I can probably get into a Div 2 school in the States. Not a full ride school. It's a partial scholarship, so you maybe get a tertiary education for $15,000. 4-year college degree, 4 years of experience in another country, a possibility of getting good enough to play professional baseball, but then you have a degree for the rest of your life. Why you wouldn't take those opportunities? Now the fly ball to centre field falls down in front of the centre fielder, safe at first base. Yeah, so it's like you said, if you're an opportunities person, then it's a no-brainer, and it's really good to see the growth of baseball in New Zealand, and these kids just absolutely having a blast too.
In terms of the White Sox, I'm not so involved with the women's game anymore. We've got 2 younger boys playing, one in under 15s and one who's 10 that's on the mound now. So I tend to be more involved with the boys game and rec stuff.
Cool.
And watching them.
Yep.
Otherwise I won't get to watch them play and develop.
Yeah.
But certainly keeping an eye on the women's game for afar. I think that, is it called Summer
Slam? Yeah.
Sounds awesome. That's going to be on TV with the new franchise game in America.
Yep. Another ball in the outfield. Moves run out of third. Yeah, it's also a bit frustrating for me. I mean, I've talked to some of the girls that were current White Sox or were current White Sox a few years ago, and talking about the funding system here in New Zealand. I mean, we've had to deal with it with baseball, because we're not a gold medal possibility yet, or we're not likely to qualify for the Olympics in the eyes of high performance sport. The funding governance, the money is so minimal. I mean, like the White Sox deal with the same thing that we've got to deal with as well, and that we don't get the funding we need because we're not a medal opportunity. And we're trying to say, but aren't we trying to take care of our kids and their futures and invest in the population here in New Zealand? And it makes it a little frustrating at times, but it's coming around, and I think the error at second base sees Nino Mason safe at first base, scoring the run from third. So Wellington working hard here to try and claw their way back for the win. This obviously is an elimination game, the winner going through the final against Auckland this afternoon. Another ground ball fielded by the pitcher, records the out at first. Well, anyway, thank you very much, ladies, for joining me. I appreciate it. I know Regan wanted to get you guys on the mic and give us a little bit of insight. I mean, you guys have a strong rooted background in sports and diamond sports here in New Zealand. So it's always a pleasure to have people like you around and have a chat. And hopefully the young fellas continue to do well either in softball or in baseball, and can manage to develop a future for themselves.
Yeah, awesome.
So. Thanks for having us. All the best to the Tuatara too.
Thank you. I've got nothing to do with it. So. Jonty Pratt with a line drive to right field, scoring another run for Wellington. Baseball. This is what we were talking about earlier, ladies and gentlemen, is you play the game right to the end. Anything can happen. You could be down by 20 and score 25 in the last inning. First pitch, ball in the dirt. currently pitching for Canterbury Baseball is number 7, Ruamana Kumura. That is Shah Mawaka's young lad. Another error out in left field by the shortstop sees him make it all the way out to second base and move the runner to third. 2 runners in scoring position now for Wellington Baseball. Score is currently 16-10, 2 down. Here's the beast looking to do some damage. Pitcher showing a little concern with the hitter with the first pitch. Curveball in the dirt. High fastball. Willie's eyes peeled wide open and a big swing and a miss. Lays off that high fastball. Bring the count 2 balls or 1 strike. Next offering is a little bit outside. Bring the count to 3 balls, 1 strike. Here for the beast. Ball 4 in the dirt, picked up cleanly by the catcher to load the bases for Wellington Baseball. Just a reminder, folks, that the winner of this game goes through to play Auckland Baseball for the chance to go to Korea and compete for New Zealand in the Little League World Cup. That brings to the plate the right fielder for Wellington Baseball, number 14, Jaden Harris. First pitch swung hard, line drive down first base. Runs coming round. Willie making his way to third base, and he'll be held up by the third base coach. Excellent piece of hitting there by Jaden Harris. Wellington Baseball showing they are well and truly not out of this game yet. Doing everything they can to ensure they keep the dream alive in the tournament to get to Korea. So that brings up to plate Tane Oshan Tane. Willie comes home, sides, safe. The beast moving those wheels hard down the third base line. Tying run on third base, 2 out. 1 ball on the hitter. Big swing, foul ball. Brings the count 1-1. Tying run at third, 2 out. Wellington Baseball looking to extend this comeback drive. Ball outside. Count, 2 balls, 1 strike. Ball inside, pass ball, runner comes home.
Tie game.
Safe, and that's a tied ball game. We talked about this earlier on. You can't stop playing the game. Anything can happen. You got like ball 4.
Is it gone?
Yeah.
This is it? This could be...
So lay out the possibilities here for us, Chris.
Oh, well,
ground ball.
The shortstop making error.
He's made a bubble.
Safe. Oh, he's out.
Out at the second.
Way to stick with it, though.
There we end that inning with a tie ball game. So that brings up to plate for Canterbury baseball, number 58, Hiro Fujigami.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We got the flamethrowing lefty on the mound now for Wellington, number 10, Cooper. Is it McQuan? I can't read the handwriting. I've
Yes.
So he throws a strike for the second pitch to bring the count 1-1.
I like this matchup right here. Lefty, lefty. Little Cooper with his little slider that he has. Little three-quarter
side arm action. I like it.
Like a little Josh Hader up there.
Yeah. Good long levers.
He's got one ear pierce.
That's going to put him off balance a little bit, right?
He's got that closer look.
Actually, he keeps his front side closed nicely. He's just kind of flying out a little bit. There it is.
There it is.
Ground ball to second, fielded cleanly, and it's out at first base.
Just a little bit of sink on that fastball, make him roll over. Beautiful, it's good.
You see he throws 3 different variations of that sinker.
It is.
A different grip every time.
It did. That one ran hard in on the hands. You know, I feel like if you're Wellington here, all you need, if you can get out of here, even with 1 run, but no runs, I think the momentum's on their side.
Of course. And there for a strike.
Leading off with a strike.
You're going to miss, you miss low.
Oh.
Just a bit outside.
Pepper in the zone. That's good. That's good. I like this. Oh, back for a back foot attempt. Yesterday, I think he threw about 18 pitches yesterday.
Just keeps him fresh for the day.
He threw 3 back foot curveballs in a row. It was the most impressive thing ever.
Gotcha. Drops that pitch in the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. In there, low, ball 4.
That looked like a pretty good pitch to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was there. It was there. Hey, what are you going to do, right? Canterbury now with a runner on first base, 1 out. Brings to the plate.
I tell you what, this is what makes Little League fun
Great
when
picture.
kids try to mimic their favorite big league players.
Oh,
Look at the swag on this kid.
So
He's got
this
the elbow
young man
guard.
comes from a pedigree of diamond ball players. So this is Nico Pawaka Grego's cousin.
Oh, nice.
His mum played professional softball in Italy. You know, the
Dad played as well, probably.
Yeah, the kids have all grown up catching balls all around the paddock. So you know, when you've got a passion for the game, you're always going to try and mimic your favorite players. I did ask him though what he was going to use that legging for.
Yeah.
It looks like a catcher's legging.
Yeah, it looks like he's planning to foul a lot of balls off.
Yeah. But hey, if it makes him feel like a better ball player, then
that's right.
I think you heard me. I'm not a big fan of the elbow guards and the leg guards until you're a top level player, because it puts it in your subconscious that you've got it there to protect yourself from being hit. So now you're thinking about being hit by the ball. If you've got nothing on, the ball comes in, just get out of the way.
Just get out of the way. Yeah, that's.
Or wear it and get on base.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but
get your OBP up, man.
Yeah, well, you know, you watch TV, you want to be the big leaguer. Might as well do it.
And look, I mean, there's a lot of professional players in the big leagues wearing guards and shoes and particular things, and they don't need to wear them. They never wanted to wear them. They're wearing them because they've been paid millions of dollars to promote their product.
Yeah, fair enough. I would too. If anybody out there has anything they want me to wear for free, I will take
Would
it.
you wear a Easter egg bonnet?
Yes. If I got paid for it, yeah.
Speaking of which, we are still on the search for some sponsorship for the world record attempt again in June.
That's right. So if anybody's watching an under 12 Little League qualifier,
yeah,
donate.
Hey.
Donate to Wellington Baseball New Zealand, or a bunch of tossers.
Let's go, Ron! Let's go!
Oh, there it is.
Actually,
that nails a car. I like it.
The world record egg to see if they wanted to get on board.
Yeah, I did too.
Let's go, Ron! Let's go! Let's go, Ron! Let's go! Let's go!
There it is.
Grab on third base. Field it cleanly. First go.
Way to get the lead runner.
Lead runner at second base. Excellent job there by the third baseman. Just keep us calm, keep us cool. Make a good throw to second base to get that lead runner. Because right now, a single run gives you the advantage for the win and a chance to stay in it to get to Korea.
TJ! Let's go, TJ! Let's
We're gonna have the strike here. Oh, there we go. Come out hacking. Oh, nice catch by the dad holding a baby. That's amazing.
go, TJ! Come on, TJ! Go, TJ! Let's go, TJ! Let's go, TJ!
Oh, good swing.
Right to.
I'm Cooper here. I go back to the fastball.
Keep running the ball! Come on!
Strike three.
And that's it. Now you have an opportunity to win. Definitely want to get a win in front of your home crowd. Which we actually have a really good crowd here.
I was just saying earlier, we've got a good 100 to 130 people here.
Yeah, there's a lot.
That doesn't include the players and staff. So
quite a few people, especially for.
I see there's a Liam Basher here as well, one of the Wellington baseball stalwarts. Probably the most passionate about baseball here in Wellington for a local boy.
It really gives back to the community.
Yep.
Coaches does a good job coaching with the Central Club.
Still needs a haircut though.
Yeah, mixing a haircut.
High ground ball up the middle. Leadoff batter gets on base for Wellington baseball. So that brings up to plate for Wellington baseball number 15, Nino Mason.
You know what? I'm thinking here, Nino's been close on a couple. He's just missing. I'm saying he hits a walk-off right here. Walk-off home run. What's going on?
This is one of these times I wouldn't want to be changing my pitcher. I mean, it's a high pressure situation. You haven't thrown off the mound all day. Makes it tough for a kid that's 11, 10 years old. First pitch by the relief pitcher, number 58, Hiro Fujigami, in there for a ball.
Still sticking to my guns that Nino's might go deep here.
Let's make this interesting. What are you willing to put on it?
Pay me back the money I bought for coffee. Oh.
Nino loading up and wanting to explode on the baseball.
That's a good take. I like that. When you take and
your hands are down at your belly button.
You're ready to pull the trigger. He'll take that walk though. Okay.
Excellent piece of hitting there by Nino.
Still keep the double play in order.
Brings to the plate number 12, Mason Carey. Now this is an ideal situation for a team. You tie ball game, last inning, runner on first and second, nobody out. I mean, you can't. Your percentage of not scoring a run is good.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a good opportunity, but I'm throwing two seams in right here. I'm making them roll over to third base.
And as I said before, I mean, as a coach, kids this age, the lack of experience, high pressure situation, I wouldn't want to put a new pitcher on who hasn't thrown off the mound today.
Yeah, that's true.
He's trying to get his feel with the pressure of I'm going to lose this game and get us knocked out of the tournament.
He hasn't thrown a strike yet, has he?
Another wild pitch there, ball 4.
So 8 balls in a row. So they
loaded bases.
Might walk in the winning run.
So as you see the fielders for Canterbury walking in, playing in close to home. The winning run is at third base.
You can feel the desperation out of the coaches.
If the ball gets over any of them, it's going to be a lost ball game anyway. So they're just trying to get that out at home.
You can feel the panic coming from the Canterbury dugout. Ooh, 10 balls. Here comes the winning run.
And save it, and Wellington baseball are going to the final, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the way you like to lose a game when you've gone most of the game with a massive lead. You give it up on a 3-walk wild pitch.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. But if you're Wellington, you fought hard, you scrapped your way
And
back.
we talked about it all day. You don't give up till the end. I mean, anything can happen in baseball, especially junior baseball.
Especially Little League baseball. You got to have 30 runs to feel comfortable.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Wellington Baseball are going to the final of the Little League qualifier to compete against Auckland Baseball to get their spot to go to Korea for the Little League World Cup. Tune back in here at 11:30 and catch the grand final here in Wellington of the Little League qualifier. Haven't seen a thumbs up yet, so are we testing? Testing. And welcome to the grand final, or the official live stream for the grand final of the Little League qualifiers. Wellington baseball coming through with the goods and battling back from a large deficit in the semi-finals versus Canterbury to get the walk-off win and move through to the final round against Auckland. This game is to progress through and represent New Zealand at the Little League World Cup in Korea this year. Both teams will be giving it everything that they have. Last game for the tournament, restrictions go out the window. It's both teams are playing to win. We will take you through the lineups now. For the Wellington team, leading off, playing shortstop is Aaron Golan. Playing center field, batting 2 is Nino Mason. Pitching, batting 3, Mason Carey. Out in left field, in the cleanup spot, is Cooper McQuan. Second base, batting 5, Jonty Pratt. And then at third base, number 6, batting number 6, is Logan Woolley, the Beast. Out at first base, batting number 7 is Chase Farrell. And then in right field, the 8th hitter, Everett Parker. And closing out the lineup for the Wellington team, I apologize, it's not my handwriting I'm trying to read. Fletcher Warren. And he'll be catching the game for Wellington. Now for the Auckland team. Pitching and leading off is Regan Soper. Playing first base, hitting 2, Jaden Whittle. Playing left field, batting 3 is Kobe Antonovich. Playing center field, batting 4 is Harrison Martin.
He's walking all the way in the back.
Batting 5, fielding 5, Liam Hay. And out in right field, batting number 6 is Lucas Adams. Batting 7, playing shortstop, Joseph Hill. Kyle Roberts will be behind the dish, hitting in the 8 hole. And Brandon Wilmhurst, batting 9.
Are you got the mic on? Because I don't think anything's coming through.
He just spent 10 minutes wasting his life.
Now?
You hear us?
Live streaming.
Apologies, everyone out there watching at home. We seem to be having a little bit of technical difficulty. I just want to double check with our tech crew if we're getting audio.
Wow, 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 wow.
Classic. Here we go, we're on the way. Play conference just happened.
Hey, they flew me down here to do this. That's on them. That's on them. We're good. Okay, I apologize if you heard the sound effects. We're just having a play around with the audio here at the ballpark here in Wellington. So I'm going to go through the lineups again just in case we did miss them the first time through. So for the Wellington Hornets, leading off, fielding shortstop is Aaron Golan. Playing center field, batting 2, Nino Mason. Mason Carey is batting 3, he's pitching. He's starting pitcher for the Wellington team. Cooper McQuan, playing left field, batting 4, Jonty Pratt. Playing second base, batting 5, Logan Woolley, the Beast. Playing third base, hitting 6, Chase Farrell playing first. The Auckland team, Regan Soper starting on the mound and leading off with Jaden Whittle playing first base, hitting 2. Kobe Antonovich playing left field, batting 3. Harrison Martin will be out in center field, batting 4. Liam Hay batting 5, fielding 5. Lucas Adams in right field, batting 6. Joseph Hill in shortstop, batting 7. Kyle Roberts behind the dish, batting 8. And Brandon Wilmhurst at second base, closing out the lineup at number 9. Now, for those, in case we did miss that initial audio, I'd like to welcome everybody to the live stream for the grand final for the Little League Qualifier Cup here in windy Wellington. The 2 finalist teams being Auckland and Wellington. Now Wellington battled back from a big 11-run deficit from the first inning in their semi-final game to win with a walk-off and progress through to this final match. Now these 2 teams are battling it out for the spot to go to Korea and represent New Zealand at the Little League World Cup. So no doubt both teams will leave everything out on the field. Coaches use every player they can to ensure they get the win. Last game of the tournament, last game of the day. Hopefully these clouds don't precipitate. I'm sure we'll see a cracker of a game. And we're underway here in Wellington for the grand final. Let's play ball. Regan Soper steps, delivers. First pitch, first swing, first hit of the game. Aaron Gollan leads off with a single to center field. Now, ladies and gentlemen at home, I will be joined for the first part of this match by Regan Woods, the president of Wellington Baseball. One of the reasons why we have this beautiful game at the level and the progression that it's got to now. We'll go into some conversation on what it's taken to get us there and how he feels it's all going. Regan Soper throwing strikes. We talked about it last game. The successful pitchers will be the ones that can throw the ball over the plate. Ground ball to second base. Bit of a bubble, gets out at second, safe at first. Auckland doing well to get the lead off, or the lead runner there. With 1 out, runner on 1. So Regan, how long have you been involved with Wellington baseball? I know you played baseball way back in the day. You're one of the original, one of the originals.
You referring to him a bit like Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone. But I appreciate that. A little bit of Botox and I tied out quite nicely.
Yeah. I mean, I know you cycle quite a lot, so you keep everything nice and firm. But yeah, so you've been ground ball to the pitcher, first base gets the runner.
Yeah, so Ryan Flynn, about sort of 5 years ago, said, look, can you help out with baseball in the Wellington region? And he had a guy, Dave Bishop, was here, and Dave was making pretty good progress. And I said, look, yeah, okay, I'll help with Dave. And so this boy's throwing good strikes, isn't he?
He is. I know Regan's an older brother, Charlie, and I've seen him. They're at the ballpark every second day or every day. And I mean, that's what we've spoken about already, is the more and more you do something in baseball, the better you get at it, because it's repetition of mechanics. If you can repeat the right mechanics over and over again, you can do what Regan's doing right here, and just throwing strikes.
Yeah, technically he looks pretty good. I watched him in shortstop yesterday. I really liked him in shortstop. He had a hell of a game last night.
Foul ball straight up above the catcher. Catcher looks up, under it, unable to make the catch now. Just with that fly ball there, what we teach our catchers is to turn around and face the back net, because the way the ball spins off the bat when it pops up like that forces it to spin out towards the field. So if you're standing this way, the ball then it curves away from you and makes it quite tough to catch. But anyway, so 5 years you've been helping
So
out.
it really wasn't until, and it was more, look at that.
Nice strike, low on the zone, missed the call.
Wow. In the first couple of years was just an advisory, just supporting from a financial point of view and encouraging, but it really wasn't until New Zealand Baseball brought out Gary Wheelock.
Hard hit ball in between third and shortstop. Runner moves through it. He's been rounded around to home. Here comes the throw. No competition at home, and he's safe. First run of the game for Wellington.
It's a nice runner, isn't he? He moves quite well.
Very well, and I mean, it's a good piece of situational hitting there. I mean, put the ball in a play, get it through a gap, and runner in scoring position, and as you see, he scores. And if they can chip away and do that for the rest of the game, they're going to put themselves in good contention.
So that was young Cooper, number 10 there. So he pitched in that last game. Did you watch what he looked really good? Look at that. Here we go. Oh,
yes, so he's the lefty with the sidearm three-quarter action. And he's got long levers, which is, as a pitcher, is really ideal, because a good pitcher has a whip in his action. Instead of trying to muscle the ball, they use that long lever to generate the momentum. And he's got a good little bit of movement on his pitches too, which is it's good to see, especially in Wellington, where all these kids play softball too, that they're starting to get these pitching mechanics to be able to throw that well.
I think someone like him, he's reasonably natural. And he sort of looks like a pitcher, where he moves. Mum's, she was watching before, and she was clearly excited to watch her lad. Mum actually runs Wellington softball and does a great job. Yeah. And when you talk to the clubs about the job she does, they love they think she's probably been the best administrator.
The way that our two sports are starting to work together is really something I'm pleased to see. We've been wanting it to work that way, and you telling me now that a mother of a baseball player playing for Wellington runs softball in Wellington and is happy for it and comes down to support her son playing baseball, I think that's great. I mean, we've got to understand that the things everyone's trying to do is for the kids. And it's really good to see.
Look, you just put your parents' hat on, just when your kid playing sport, and kids want to play sport with their friends. When you look at the things that kids want to do and they measure, and we as sort of old people, we think winning's important, but they don't. They want to play with their mates. And they want to be successful, and out of that will come another group. So going back, Dave was doing a great job with Warren's help, and then it wasn't until Gary Wheelock.
Well, just to go back, Dave Bishop, I mean, he was working to the teeth to grow Wellington baseball. I mean, he was doing it because he loves the game, and he had a brother who signed with the Boston Red Sox as a softball. He's straight out of softball, no real baseball, and they've got a younger brother who's a decade and a half behind them. Who's now 17, and he wanted it for his little brother, because they missed all those opportunities through baseball that they wish they had had. And then he moved to the Gold Coast to benefit Faenza and the family, which left a bit of a hole down here in Wellington.
Yeah, I've got more of a story to that too. So Dad, Les used to come and we've got a shop in town, Magnetics. Your mum as well, geez. But no, Dad used to come into a shop, this is years ago, and buy Sports Illustrated, because he wanted the baseball stuff for the boys. When there was no baseball, Big Les would come into the shop, and you knew he was in the shop. He's a man mountain.
Oh yeah. And a big shout out to the Bishops too. I mean, it's a great family. They've been wonderful in baseball. I know they've got a strong softball heritage as well. I caught up with Dave over in Brisbane with the Tuatara game, and good to see him still just right into baseball. Faenza, man, he's a big boy, and he's going to do some damage.
Yeah, well, they're all they're well-built family, athletic bunch. But
breaking ball in for a strike.
Nice pitch.
We'll try the first hitter of the inning.
So Mason, a little bit of background. I'll come back to the thing, but just on him. So Mason plays softball, and he plays baseball, and he plays rugby league, and he's into all sorts of sport.
Multi-sports, I preach it. Multi-sports.
Yeah, he goes into Hard Intermediate. Because we're going to have an intermediate competition this year in the Wellington region, and Hard Intermediate are behind.
I'm just watching him now. He does have it's not a normal pitching action. He comes really right over the top with his arm, but he
Josh Coleman's at stop.
Just like that. But he's got good control. He hasn't thrown anything too wild, and he threw a couple little breaking balls in there with nice tight spin. I don't like seeing kids these days throwing breaking balls because it does add stress to the elbow that's unnecessary. But
so he will also be considered for the Ripken this year and next year.
Yep.
He's got the.
Awesome.
He's only young. You know, he's growing. Thing. So you're going. So when we got Gary out, Gary Wheelock. So he came to Wellington.
There's that breaking ball.
Nice job
To retire the second batter of the inning by a strikeout.
So we had DJ Carrasco, and he worked with the Bishops, and that was good. But I was at that time going through a messy separation. So DJ and Autumn were sort of left their own devices. Here's a car and here's a credit card, and away they went. But then Gary came, Uncle Gary, and he was brilliant.
Uncle Gaz.
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
That's how you need to pitch at any level. Is you throw a strike over the plate to start with. You can't pitch from behind. It's too hard. Be confident.
Well, you would know yourself.
Yeah, we talked about it. I preach pitch to contact. I would pitch to contact and try and get them to hit the ball on the ground until I had 2 strikes. I wasn't thinking strikeout until I got 2 strikes up.
That was how you used to pitch yourself, or you coach that?
No, I coach it, and I used to pitch that way. I was even a closer, which is supposed to be a strikeout guy, and I still do it. I do low in the zone, try and get a little bit of movement, but prove that you're better than me 3 times out of 4 during the game, because statistically they're not going to do that. They're going to hit you once out of 4 at bats.
So you were reasonably dominant as a reliever
I
was
a power pitcher, so I was 95 to 97. My slider, which was a tight slider with about 1.5 foot of movement at 89 miles an hour, and I mean if you can throw a pitch that starts at the batter's head and drops into the strike zone at 89 miles an hour.
Look at this! What a great inning!
3 straight strikeouts to start the game for the Wellington team. I mean that sets the tone for the rest of the game. He's done an excellent job out there.
Well, they're carrying a little bit of momentum that come behind win in that last game. So we had Gary came out, and Gary was brilliant. You know, Gary was quite happy to sit on my couch. And being a former major leaguer, and he's like, look, I'll stay on your couch. And we didn't do that. We got him a place to stay, and he had a little van, and away he went. And he sort of gave that, hey, we can do this. And then Ryan phoned me one night and said, look, Chris Richards, young guy, he's in Australia. He's coached internationally. He's available. Can we make this work?
Yeah.
And I was a little nervous, young guy. Maybe that's just because I'm an old guy. And so Chris, he turned up, and I think I went off to play in the World Masters baseball thing. So I think I said to Chris, do you need any money? Here's a credit card, whatever it was. I'll be back in a week. Look, Chris.
He ran up a $15,000 bill, right?
He called Mum a few times back home. That's right. Yeah, and the van got stolen. No, seriously. But and Chris has been brilliant. So having that foil, that person to sort of, and of course I'm very lucky, very fortunate with, I see Chris. Well, when he's not playing for the Turatara, of course, but he would come in every day at the office. We would talk about what we are doing, reviewing, and then
it's having Chris come down for me, like when I worked for Baseball New Zealand the previous 5 years, those first few years, we're based in Auckland, and we would do 1 or 2 trips a year to these regional areas, Wellington, Christchurch, Tauranga, Hawke's Bay. Yeah, it's great for us to work with these kids for a weekend, but once we leave, then what? Nothing happens. It can't happen. It's nobody's fault other than we didn't have the staffing. So
the resource.
Having yourself and Chris.
Well, but there's more now, of course. Now we've got Craig Wallace. So Craig Wallace, former Black Sox. No, it's a bit more than people in that year 7 and 8. So we're going to have this coming year a
ground ball. Pitcher fields that throws to first. The beast.
Oh, what good
job! Not in time.
Good job, Regan.
Hit them all out.
That was good fielding. Yes,
so that's what we call fielding your position. So as a pitcher, you don't just pitch, you field. You got to hit at this age group. So did an excellent job there to understand that the base of the hitter isn't a fast runner, and he had the time to set his feet, make a good throw, and get out. So ball outside. Regan's starting to overthrow the ball a little bit.
You notice that?
Yeah, so
explain that to me, Ricky.
So I watch him, and he was off balance at the end of his. That one was better. So the one before he was falling off to the side because he was trying to throw too hard. He's excited. He got the first out, and so he comes up and he goes, "Oh, I'm going to try and throw hard and press people or try and blow by him." And And that's young athlete mentality. See right there, just threw it in there for a strike.
And he's got 2 strikes.
Now he's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now he can throw the ball wherever he wants and not have to worry. He's still got 3 more balls to play with. Nice. Strike 3. So yes, Gary Wheelock, Chris Richards.
Then Chris, and so we've got Craig Wallace, so former Black Sox, and some say if he was to really work hard, he could probably be a Black Sox currently. So he's coaching, very much focused on those schools. So he rolled into one school, Hutt Intermediate, and look, Hutt Intermediate, pretty progressive. They love their sports, and with his program, there was 80 boys came out of it and 25 girls.
First pitch is a beautiful strike, hit up the middle hard by Everett Parker, the right fielder for Wellington baseball. He's definitely not the biggest guy on the field, but he put good contact on the ball. That a bit of space out there.
So and so you got that, and then we've got Thomas de Wolf, Belgian national, played with the Met system. He's got a fabulous story, so he came out to help. So for us, we'll be looking to add another coach next year, because it's all about the coaching, as you said, for us and the experience.
And it's also baseball knowledge. I mean, it's great when you have parents and the likes coaching teams and coaching kids, but if they don't, Fletcher hitting hard to shortstop, throws to first, side away.
Good fielding by the shortstop there, that's not short play.
If your coaches don't know the right way to teach baseball, and I mean it's not anyone's fault other than every other country that plays baseball, you play baseball growing up, so you have a general understanding of the ins and outs of baseball, whereas in New Zealand baseball's still so new that the parents that are coaching these teams have never played the game before, and so they don't have the experience or the knowledge.
Yeah, I've got a different spin on that, because like you, I played 1,000 years ago, and there was many people that that were coaching baseball when they didn't, until you get to work with Chris Richards, and he breaks things down to simple form, and you go, oh wow, wow, that makes sense, So it's that ability to be able to communicate, so having that experience.
So having the experienced coaches in New Zealand to coach the coaches and to share that knowledge, because I still learn. Like, I've been in the game for 28 years, and I still learn every day that I'm on the field, because, I mean...
How old are you, Ricky?
32.
Wow. So you've been playing since you're 4?
4 years old. Haven't missed a season.
You're making this up, aren't you?
No, I swear to goodness. I started playing with the 6-year-olds, and
when you were 4, were you a big kid?
Yeah, I've always been a big kid.
How big?
When I was 4, I was the same size as 6-year-olds. So, let's put it this way: my daughter just turned 3. She's 105 centimeters.
She's 105 centimeters.
Yeah.
You got her on growth sort of hormone? What's going on, Ricky? Come on. You're trying to turn her into a netball
player? It's a high white blood, man.
Oh wow. Right.
But and that's the thing, is I still learn every day, and so, I mean, the best thing you can do as a coach is believe that you don't know everything, and coach like you don't know everything, because you're willing to learn. And
that's why we're very fortunate with Craig, and I don't want to sort of talk about Craig, but example being, he's like he probably knows more about. It's funny, we talked about Darren Braggs from the Tuatara, and Craig goes, he played for Boston, he was traded from Seattle. Yeah, he knew that stuff, and I'm going, and most, we're like, oh wow, but Craig's very humble about it and goes, look, I understand there's a whole lot of process here. He's been good with Thomas. So we've got Tamsin down here in an admin role. And she's brilliant. Tamsin, she's organised this tournament.
And it makes all the difference having those good people around you too. And, I mean, you can have all the ideas and the things you believe will work, but if you don't have the people that are willing to implement them wholeheartedly, it falls apart.
And then you've got the East Hopes out here in Hutt Valley, so Craig goes in, grabs 80 kids, and then they'll run that classmates, mates, all here, 6 games going on a Wednesday night, and then you'll pull a travel team out of it. So,
hard hit ball to shortstop.
Oh, here we go.
Fields it off the chest, makes the throw. Runner's safe at first base. Hard hit ball to shortstop there. You did well to stay behind it. I mean, that's something that I can really appreciate with young kids. A ball hit that hard, for him to stay behind it and use his body to make sure it doesn't go to the outfield for a possible double. All credit to the shortstop there.
So they're a very big softball family.
Yep.
Collins. It was
nice
funny.
Pitch on the outside corner of the plate there.
Uncle's watching it from America.
Awesome. So that's the beauty of technology these days too. These kids, they know they're on TV, so it's a little bit of excitement for them. Well, not TV, but YouTube. Runner goes Safe. Second base. Good little throw there by Fletcher Warren.
Yeah, we've just had a look at the instant replay, and he was safe. Is this Big Al?
Another nice pitch on the outside corner of the plate. A strike two. This is Big Al, I believe, the catcher for the Auckland team.
Number 99.
99, and the coach hasn't written down that number.
No, there it is there. Liam.
There we go.
Yeah, they call him Big Al, but it's Big L. As in,
L.
Yeah, for Liam.
L for Liam.
But I think he's got the best name in Little League Baseball.
He's also got a NFL number too.
Well, isn't there a Yankees player with 99 as well? It's pretty good.
Judge.
Yeah, I think he's pretty handy.
Hey, but if you're making hundreds of millions of dollars, you can do what you want, right?
Well, he doesn't yet, though, does he? He's going to.
Yet. He will. So now batting for the Auckland team, number 11, Lucas Adams.
All of this.
Comes up, makes a throw out first base. Fletcher Warren
play.
Coming up quick out of the catcher's box to make that play. So yeah, I mean, you guys have really, you're kind of the poster child for the regional development for baseball in New Zealand. I mean, Canterbury have been around for a bit longer than you guys in terms of having actual baseball being played in a league, in a competition. But they've come to a bit of a stall. They've now got Nate McDonald down there helping them out, which then means they've got someone facilitating baseball, and they'll start moving forward again. But
yeah, look, I think to be fair, some of the regions, including Auckland, they rely on New Zealand baseball, the Ryan Flynn, and Bourne, etc., to sort of solve some of their problems. But once we realise that we got to do this ourselves, and this is how we measured, we have to do it. So we're and that's the very important thing is, we're a new sport, so we get the opportunity to, if you think about as a sport, very few people get the opportunity to mould something how you'd like to do, create something new, as well as this world relevance and the support that we have.
Breaking ball leaves it up in the zone.
Full count, mate. Here we go.
Joseph swings, fouls it straight back. Timing is on. Keeps himself alive.
What club's he with? Struck him out. That's it. Back on.
Cool. Strike 3 to retire the third out of the inning. So that brings us to the top of the third inning and the grand final of the the Little League Qualifier Cup. Winner of this game goes to Korea to represent New Zealand at the International or the Little League World Series. Both pitchers doing an excellent job on the mound today. And that's what we like to see with a high-level baseball game, is a pitcher's duel.
Yeah. This is young Golan. Aaron, he led off a nice little hit last at bat.
Yeah, lead off hit, first pitch of the game. He drove it up the middle. First offering from Soper is inside.
That's outside, but on one side.
So yeah, young Aaron, he's had a great great weekend in baseball.
You know,
He's a cool kid too.
Yeah, I just have a big swing, big fly out to center field underneath it. Is left-handers. They get an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
And the theory I have is that lefties are more ambidextrous than right-handed hitters. So your lead hand for a lefty is stronger than a righty's lead hand. And so that's my theory.
Based on what, Ricky?
Based on me talking rubbish, basically.
All right, cool. Nice.
Pitches up in the zone, fell back by Nino Mason.
Would you like to be left-handed, Ricky?
I would.
Yeah. Have you
make more money, get more chances.
More chances. Nice.
So any dads out, or expecting dads out there, if you have a son, put the ball in their left hand when they start baseball.
So we're at 1-1? 1-1?
1-0.
Yeah.
Top of the third. 1 out. Wellington looking like a completely different team than the last game. Ground ball to shortstop. Shortstop throws. Second out.
So the green one is not this time with the blue one is super sour. That's what we got us to do because I said the other day, give me one.
He's made about 3 or 4 plays in a row, hasn't he?
Yes. I mean, your best player usually plays at shortstop, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, I said the pitcher yesterday was playing at shortstop and he was super impressive as well. So
it's from what I've seen today. I've only been down here for the day today, and the level of talent across the 3 teams is really impressive from where we were a couple of years ago. So. Nice pitch in there for strike number 2. Yeah, it's and it's good to see the level of baseball then gets better. The kids get to play better baseball, and therefore their skills get better. Just having a look around, Regan, you're impressed with the crowd. Tough play there for the shortstop as it hits the mound, hits the pitcher, bounces up. Runner makes it safely to first.
Yeah, Wellington appears to have a fair bit of support, and they've got an under-16 team training in the background, which normally train at Wakefield Park. That's the PK Pirates.
Yep.
So they've come out to train and support the little guys out here.
I think we're looking at about 250 people out here.
Much as a Tuatara game.
Actually. High in the zone, driven up to right field, up in the air. Right fielder catches it and records the 3rd out of the inning. Still no runs to leave the score at 1-0.
Yeah, so the Tuatara had some nice crowds, didn't they?
They did. It looked really good, and what they were able to do with McLeod Park was quite impressive. I mean, there were a few things that, because it's a temporary ballpark, obviously you've got to just deal with it. A lot of learning going on and figuring things out.
It didn't look temporary to me, Ricky.
No.
We a few people travelled up from Wellington, and we were all, just wow.
It was such a gorgeous turf. That, I mean, the grass was perfect. The infield, I mean, Kevin Napier and his team of groundsmen, for a guy that's just learnt on his own at his son's home club in Hao Pakuranga, 5 years of doing that by himself and figuring out what works in New Zealand, what doesn't, because obviously you can't bring dirt in from international places. He's done an excellent job, and hopefully they keep him around to continue on doing what he's...
Look, absolutely. I was fortunate enough to be in the review the other day, and it was all about Kevin. But also Pandy was out there doing, working 24/7.
Every time I talk to her, I ask, have you gone grey? Is the hair still there? Because we know what she's got to put up with. She's basically the baseball mum of New Zealand, and everyone that is working for Baseball New Zealand or the Tuatara or regional, she's helping to look after them as a kind of go-to person.
So you're suggesting she might have been dyeing her hair, Ricky, with all the stress that was created there, or what?
I reckon she would just wear it loud and proud. Or
is
she looking good?
She was looking good.
Big shout out to Pandy, by the way. I mean, we got lots of love for you, and everyone in baseball knows how hard you work. So put that little plug in. Big Al with a catcher's interference. So for those at home watching new to baseball, if the hitter swings and touches the catcher on a swing, they're automatically given first base. Oh, the catcher's interference call.
Oh, it's at 1 o'clock? Alright, that sounds good. Thank you.
First pitch in there for a strike. So that's another beautiful thing with the baseball, softball crossover here in New Zealand is the under 12 in the Little League baseball field is basically the same size as a softball field, a full softball field. So we don't have to go building new facilities. We can use them for the juniors. And I mean, this here today is perfect for what these kids need and what we want.
Yeah, so look,
breaking ball in there for strike number 2.
So yeah, I mean, so we'll do baseball on a Sunday.
Number 3.
Yeah, so we'll do baseball on a Sunday. So we'll do softball on Saturday. It's all pretty good. You use facilities.
Perfect.
I mean, Blair East Hope was out here on Friday, all day Friday, finishing us off, making sure it was good. So, and he's from the Hornets team.
First pitch swung on, strike 1.
So 85 is good for 5 minutes.
Soft ground ball to first base, clean field. Throws the ball to second to get the lead runner, Big Al. Shortstop doing a good job there of recovering the ball. 2 down, bottom of the 3rd. Auckland bringing in a pinch hitter, 33, Caleb Duffy. First pitch, breaking ball inside. Fastball in there for a strike.
Lou just took one on the face mask. Unfazed.
The old bell ringer.
We are down here in Wellington, Chris and I get behind an umpire and Thomas and stuff, but what we find is for this sort of level is to jump behind the mound so you can instruct the kids what they're doing.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, I'm 6'2", 6'3", so bending down to get behind someone like Fletcher Warren is a bit of a mission.
That's fine for me, Ricky.
Yeah. But I mean, it's also, yeah, like you said, it's good to get behind the mound and give the kids some pointers and help them out through the game. I mean, our job is to grow the game and help all the players.
Here we go.
Pinch hitter draws a walk. Runners on first and second with 2 down. Brings up number 45. Kobe Antonovich. Okay. Beautiful breaking ball there for strike 3, Wellington. Getting out of the inning, no runs. So that brings us to the top of the 4th inning at the grand final of the Little League Qualifier Cup in beautiful sunny Wellington. Soap is still on the mound for Auckland, doing an excellent job keeping Wellington to just 1 run.
So we go, Jonty's from Levin Hustle. He's can play a little bit of shortstop, can pitch a bit, second base he's playing in this game. Quite a strong looking kid. Yep.
Offering in there, ground ball to second base, fields it cleanly and records the out at first.
Nice job, nice job.
Seeing a lot of fundamental baseball in this game, which is, I mean, as a coach and someone that likes to see the game growing, it's really good to see. A lot of times in the past where, you know, we've got these kids that are learning the game and they get flustered, they don't know where to throw the ball, or they stumble, or they pump a couple times just to check that they're throwing it to the right base. And this game has been field the ball, throw the ball, everyone knows what they're doing. It's actually really good to see.
Yeah, Auckland look very well drilled. They know what they're doing, don't they? You can tell it's not their first trip, you know, to the rodeo. Yeah, look at that first baseman, just the way he, you know, moves and hits.
Oh,
it's a lovely
definitely.
swing.
So at the plate now, Logan Woolley, the beast. Ground ball to third base, fielded cleanly, thrown across the diamond, out at first.
Nice job.
It's 2 down for Auckland. Here in the 4th. Pinch hitter coming in for Wellington.
It's Jaden Cox.
Jaden Cox.
So Jaden pitched in yesterday's game. And found the bat a bit. He's a little young guy. He's a good little athlete.
Yep.
We refer to him as Jeter. His favourite player is the big man himself.
You'd be hard pressed to find a kid whose favourite player is in Jeter, unless they're a pitcher.
Oh yeah, there is that.
Another fastball for a strike. So 2 down, 2 strikes.
Jay's got another couple of years at this level, so yeah, it's all bonus for him.
All growing. High fastball, strike 3. Ball is dropped by the catcher, makes the throw to first. First baseman manages to recover the ball in time. Side away.
We were just talking about him as a player too, weren't we?
Yeah.
He's doing well. Who do we mention next?
So we step into the bottom of the 4th. Leadoff hitter number 42. Harrison Martin. First pitch fell back. Can't make the play over by the hot dog stand. So I've been joined now by James Hammond, who is the Vice President for Wellington Baseball, also the owner-operator at AK Power Play Batting Cages.
Look how much space you have.
Out, is it Porirua?
It's out Porirua, Plymouth way.
Yeah. And you also have a son that has a New Zealand representative currently in Guam.
Yeah, we're currently on Guam at the moment, and yeah, he's over there and been a good experience for him.
So I'm going to talk to you first from a parental perspective.
Yes.
Obviously, hold on, ground ball to second base, fields it cleanly, just in time to get the out. You've got some wheels there Harrison, almost beating out an infield ground ball. So yeah, I mean, I've coached your son for a couple of years now and had a lot to do with him. He's got a lot of talent in rugby as well, and you know he's very passionate about baseball too. But as a father, when he said, "Hey, Dad," I mean, how did it work? Did you say, "Do you want to try baseball," or did he say, "Hey, I want to play baseball"?
He said he wanted to play baseball really, and initial starting out was early days in baseball with the Bombers.
Yep.
Which he's still there partaking in that, and I got to say, being involved in the baseball for the last 4 or 5 years, it's been absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And from a parental point of view, the opportunities that it's given our son and a bunch of the other kids, as you know, it's just been absolutely huge.
Awesome. And so they've conned you into the vice president role, eh?
They've conned me in. I didn't need conning.
A weak fly ball just over the third baseman's head in there for a base hit.
Into the vice presidency role, and I think it's just about we've been all plugging away here in Wellington, you know, getting the love for the game.
And I mean, that's where sports can be successful, is when you have good parents who are willing to actually do the hard work for their kids instead of any other kind of return. Another hardline ball out to left centre field. Runners now at first and second.
Yes.
I mean, that's where you're able to build a sport, because when a sport's starting out, you're relying on community trusts.
That's right.
Fundraising.
And it's all about the families, isn't it?
Yes.
You've got to get the buy-in from the families, and what I like about it at grassroots stage, you can see the changes, you know, over time, going from. Here we have another pitch, going from no diamonds to what we've got now, you know, and watching the changes and what it's done for our kids is. Been awesome.
So when I first started playing baseball, obviously I grew up over in Brisbane. My parents migrated.
Yes.
Baseball, when I first came over here 5 years ago, was at the same point, if not further along, than when I started when I was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
And it took around about 10 years to 15 years. Another high fly ball to right field and just fair. Foul.
So that was early days down in the trenches, I guess.
Yeah, so growing up, I mean, we played baseball on football fields and paddocks, and then slowly as it progressed with all the families that did their piece to build it, then the facilities got built. You got the big baseball diamond and the junior diamonds and the batting cages and the dugouts and the clubhouses. And it took 10 to 15 years before all the clubs were at that point, and then the ABL was able to come back and be successful again.
Yes.
So what we need to remember is, we want everything now, but we've got to put in the hard work, and in 10 years' time, when these kids are 20 years old, that's when they've got everything to the same point as the rest of the world.
That's right, rest of the world. And it's all that early day stuff, small steps, isn't it, really?
So Auckland here with an opportunity to score some runs. Line back at the pitcher, he's dropped it, makes the throw to first, out. So, I mean, that's a play there where playing baseball on a regular basis becomes paramount. If it was a senior game that same play happens, he would have known that throw to third, because the runner would have stopped. Line ball could have been caught in full.
I think that's one of the things too, seeing as a parent, seeing our boys become a lot more baseball savvy.
Yes.
Over the years, and talk about repetition and more at bats. You talked about the strength and the pitching arm.
And as a coach,
we just need more of that, don't we?
Yeah, it's the hardest thing. Is you can try and teach situational baseball, especially in the field, at training as much as you want, but it's game after game after game of them playing certain positions that they start to actually learn how to read the plays and read the situation, and
it's in the blood.
Yeah, you can't necessarily just tell a kid this is what you got to do if the ball goes here, because there's so many different scenarios that you'll blow their minds. First pitch is a little high after the ball off the wrist.
I think that's what our boys are up against, aren't they? Our young players is playing against boys that have been fielding those ground balls since they were 4 and 5.
Weak fly ball in the infield. Unlucky. Ball drops in there. Auckland score their first run of the game. Brandon Wilmhurst, the second baseman for Auckland, at the plate. takes the first pitch for a ball. Fletcher Warren doing an excellent job of keeping the ball in front of him there, preventing the runner from scoring. So currently 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Runners on second and third base. Ground ball to second base, fielded cleanly, throws to first, retires aside. We go to the top of the 5th. Yeah, so that's an international competition for every single one of our teams and every single age group. Every single team we've been athletic talent-wise and baseball talent-wise on par with most of the teams.
Yes.
Game awareness, situational awareness, and fundamental.
We're not there yet.
We're so far behind that it's tough for these kids to get excited when playing international because they're too worried about thinking, what do I have to do next, or what am I supposed to do? When if you start playing at a young age and you just play and you play and you play and you play and you play, it then becomes that second nature.
That's right. It's not an overwhelming thought for them once they're out on the diamond. But I think the more that we get here, I mean, looking at what we've got here in Wellington now with this little league qualifier, you know, if we look back 1 or 2 years ago, we would never have thought that we'd even be able to do that. So for our boys down in Wellington and for the Canterbury's down south and just for the game in general, it's a huge achievement, really.
Oh, definitely.
Great for our young boys.
And I mean, the guys that we've got here in Wellington, yourself, Regan, Chris, Thomas, Blair,
got Hendricks over
Hendricks.
here.
Yeah, I mean, everyone that's down here doing their bit has made all the difference in the world, and you can see it.
You can't you? Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is you've got these guys, you guys who aren't just here for a year to give it a shot and then be like, oh, it's too much effort, I'm not going to do it next year. It's been a couple of years in a row, and so you develop that momentum and then you can maintain it rather than like developing momentum, getting excited about it, but then going, oh well, it was too hard, and then it drops off again. You've got to start from scratch.
We've got to keep going, and I know what we're doing and developing, I guess, for the game here in Wellington for our boys, the likes of, you know, our sons, there's Aiden, Tane, and a lot of the boys, like Hannah, all those boys, Noah, Caron, all those, and all the other boys of that similar age that are coming through. We know that, you know, once we finally get it up to a park, they've only got a smaller window, you know, so by the time we get a number of diamonds, they've sort of moved on from there.
Big fly ball out to left field and caught by the left fielder.
So, you know, this is for the next generation and also those younger ball players coming through. So we're not doing this and then tapping out.
Yeah.
We're here for
I
the
mean,
long game.
someone like your boy Aiden, with the talent that he has, he's going to be lucky in the sense that he got in when he did. It was too late for most, but because he's such an athletic kid and he's got so much talent that he's going to be able to get himself to college and then grow as a baseball player. And because he's got the talent to do so, he'll have a shot even though he came in late.
Yeah, I think that's what we see in him and a bunch of the others, you know, all those boys that I just named, they've got all that talent at that young age, so they've got in a window, haven't they?
I had the coach of the Aussie team when they came over to play the Oceanic qualifiers. He pulled me aside and he said, you know, who's this kid? And I told him, and he said, he is hands down, and so Steve Fish is his name. He's got a couple of championships with Perth, professional baseball experience through the Wazoo, and he's now a scout, Oceania region scout. He said to me, that kid is by far, pound for pound, the best baseball player in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's true. I mean, it's true. You watch Tane out there; he is the most fluid, talented ball player I've ever seen.
Yep.
We just need him to pack on 30 kilos.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it'll happen.
Which he will, of course. I mean, and baseball's not a sport of you have to be this build, or you have to be this height, or you have to be this shape.
That's right.
If you've got a talent and you can grind out the 7 or the 6 levels of minor league baseball, then you're winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So it's exciting to see all the things that are happening. You know, we would have had to travel to Auckland, wouldn't we, to do this, to have our Wellington boys do anything like that. So, we're here for the long haul.
Yep.
The long game, and it's about all the kids coming through, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely.
And for the game in general. And I've got to say about the opportunities that our boys have had through the game.
Yep.
And they've been to Taiwan.
Yeah, and I mean those
huge.
boys that are on that upper echelon of the baseball talent, they're going to have opportunities for the next 6 to 8 years in terms of college scholarships or even just partial scholarships, and they're getting a 4-year tertiary education as well as experience, traveling around the world and doing all that, and then also the possibility of professional baseball. But it's not just professional baseball in the MLB or MILB, it's Japan, Nippon baseball, there's semi-pro in Japan, there's Taiwan, there's Korea, so
absolutely.
It's a global sport. Ground ball to the pitcher, gets through, second baseman fields it, first baseman does an excellent job there to dig the ball out of the dirt, record the first out of the inning. Yeah, and so I've always pressed it. I don't care if softball, baseball, basketball, whatever sport you want to play, but I'm going to push baseball because of the opportunities I know it can give our young men. The other reason I took the job over here and I wanted to come, a hard hit line drive up the middle. Geez, he is having a day with the bat, Aaron Golan. Is New Zealand has punched above its weight in sports on an international stage in so many different categories that it's ridiculous.
Yes.
Doesn't it? We'll take All Blacks out of the equation. The Olympics. I mean, there's all these sports where we shouldn't be competitive because of our population. But we're not only competitive, we're right at the top on the ladders. Why? We've got the best softball team in the world. We have had it for the majority.
That's right. I mean, you look at, we've said this, I don't know how many times, our kids have either grown up swinging a cricket bat or a softball bat, throwing a cricket ball or throwing a softball. So, that movement, that whole thing, exactly. It's a beautiful transition for our kids, isn't it, for our young men. And opportunity-wise, it's huge.
Big fly out to centre field, straight down the throat of the centre fielder for out number 3. Takes to the bottom of the 5th.
I mean, in terms of what you were just saying about the opportunities, yes, in the long game, and the end goal might be for a lot. One day we produce a Stephen Adams of baseball for the country, in the MLB. But there's so many more opportunities, isn't there, for our young men when you get to that accolade or not.
So, like Stephen Adams, I mean, that's a freakish kind of achievement for a Kiwi boy to get to college and then make it to the NBA. Being that basketball rosters are so small, so the opportunities compared to baseball organizations have 150 to 180 guys on contracts with the ball club at any one time. So there's a wider range of opportunities to get one of those spots.
Exactly.
Kyle Wigoski, currently with the Phillies, his breakout season this year, he had a sub-2 ERA in rookie ball. As a 19-year-old pitcher from New Zealand, he threw like 128 innings. That'll see him go into spring training next year, make a long season ball club. So rookie ball they do extended spring training for a couple of months after spring training and then have their season. He'll go to a ball club where they'll be looking to test him to see if they can get him to the big leagues in the next year or 2.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'll tell you what, Kyle, I've said it from the day I met him as a 13 or 14-year-old. He's going to go far.
He's going to go far
because of his presence on the mound. So he gets up there and basically says, I don't care who you are, try and hit me. And that's that mentality these pitchers need to take. And they've taken it today. These 2 pitchers, the pitchers drill, we got a 1-1 ball game.
That's right.
Because the pitchers are going, here's my fastball, see if you can hit it. But
you've been a pitcher yourself. That's some of the extra X factor, isn't it? Having that presence, creating that presence on the mound.
I've got a reputation in Brisbane
Are you going to keep doing it?
Being a bit of a scary dude because I threw hard, but then I wasn't afraid to throw the ball hard inside. Just to brush them off and then
just letting them know who owns the plate.
But I think there is a very, very strong chance that in the next 2 to 3 years we're going to have our first major league ball player.
Yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's what we need. That's what our kids need.
Soft ground ball past the pitcher, through to the shortstop, throws across, basically out. I tell you what, if I was going to pick MVP from early on,
oh yes,
it's got to be Aaron Golan or our starting pitcher for whichever team manages to take out the win. But I mean, that kid is having a day.
And from softball pedigree there, Aaron Golan, his entire family who are watching over
It's
there.
actually, I mean, it's really good to see these softball kids actually coming over and giving it a crack or playing baseball now. And there we go, out number 2. Because when I first started here, like we would come and do our tours around, and you know, there was no softball kids coming along because they didn't.
That's right.
It was baseball. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know.
People will love it.
Whereas now it's where baseball and softball working together or just coexisting.
That's right. And if we're about giving our kids opportunities,
man.
we give them every opportunity.
Exactly.
And you know, they'll make a decision for themselves, I think, or with assistance. But you look at rugby and rugby league.
Yeah.
You know, they coexist together somehow on that par, and you know, it's all about giving our boys and our players, our kids opportunities, isn't it? Really.
Just a bit outside. Ball 1, strike 1. Yeah, I mean, it frustrated me when I first got here, like that we were battling against these guys when everywhere else around the world it's baseball and softball.
Yeah.
Breaking ball in there for a strike and weak fly ball to shortstop to end the inning.
Well, you were
Wellington.
just talking about Guam before, and that's the baseball softball federation over there, is it not?
Yeah, that's the. It used to be IBAF. It's now the WBSC, which is World Baseball and Softball Confederation.
There you go.
It focuses on both sports and both genders, but the prime sports is baseball, men, women's softball, and that's what you have in the Olympics.
Yeah, that's right, and that's typically because of those pathways.
It's, for women, their opportunities is in softball. There's not a lot of opportunity in baseball for women.
Yeah.
And for baseball, the majority of opportunity for the men with baseball and softball, the majority of opportunity is in baseball.
Pathways to
education,
yeah, exactly,
and then professional sports.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of if you want to play this, go ahead, play, man. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the amount of people who are like, oh, these softball kids coming in and playing baseball and taking our spots. I was like, why does that matter? You're just mad because now your kid's not the best anymore. I mean,
yeah, it's some more ground balls.
Yeah,
that's what it's about.
I tell you, I tell everyone when that happens, you know, the better the kids are that come and play the game, the better your kid's going to get because he's getting the better competition.
Oh, it's all about giving them those opportunities, and it's a good thing, isn't it? You know, finally coming together. Most all work together.
All right, now I gotta highlight the situation. We are 1-1, top of the 6th inning. In the final game, ground ball in through the infield there. Right field makes it through to first, and that is an outfield.
I got 2 of those this year.
You're my hero. All right, James, I appreciate you coming down having a chat to us, man.
No problem at all.
Enjoy the rest of this game. It's been an absolute cracker so far.
It is. Thank you very much.
Ball just a bit outside.
So, right?
Hey, how's things?
Good thanks,
to
bro.
see you, So tell me, what have you been up to down here in Wellington with the baseball scene, man?
So what we've been doing is, as a whole, as a club, we've been trying to develop a lot more younger kids into the game.
Yep.
I mean, we've got a 13s and a 16s.
Cool.
Our 13s are quite strong. Like, as you can see, our
And
superstars
you're
in
with
this team.
PK?
Yep, PK Pirates is our club.
Yep.
So we started that out of the softball club, but just as our own entity.
Yep.
Which is good.
And you're still, and so we've been talking all day, like how beautiful it is seeing softball and baseball just coexisting finally in New Zealand.
Yep.
And is that what you guys are managing to do?
Yeah, so I don't know if this is how I should say it, but I actually coach softball and I coach baseball.
Yep.
So that's exactly what we're trying to do, is
Yeah,
like make it coexist and just giving the boys and girls actually an opportunity to be able to better themselves in a diamond sport, whether it be softball or baseball. But it seems like, you know, baseball's got a lot of pull here in our city at the moment, and
Yep.
it's working really
High
well.
fly ball, shortstop's underneath it, makes a catch.
Nice catch.
2 outs. Yeah, it's been such a quick movement or shift where there was a little bit of baseball played amongst 2 clubs.
Yep.
Because their kids wanted to play baseball, and then all of a sudden, like in 12 months, we've got a league, we've got big competitions. These kids are playing to go to Korea to represent New Zealand.
Yep. And they're doing such a good job. Like, it's people like Chris and Thomas that have come along to help us, hey Kylie, to make it better for the kids involved, and the development officer sitting in front of us has done a great job.
Excellent job.
And then the guy next to me on the left, Thomas, he's come in and taken the job and taking it to another level. Like, the kids get on with him really well. They enjoy how he speaks to them. They enjoy what he's teaching them. And he didn't know any kid, and here he is picking kids to play in these development teams and the diamond sports competitions. It's really good for the sport and for Wellington, I think.
Also, and I mean, we spoke about it with James just before. Having people like yourself, like James, guys that are sticking it out and not just giving it a year and trying to get the game going. They're here and they're going, okay, well, we're here to stay. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that the next generation has what we wish we had.
That's exactly it. Giving them the opportunity to be able to play the sport, whether, however they do it. The development side is the key part to it, man. And getting younger kids into it to play it so that they know the fundamentals by the time they're playing in the under-13s.
Because that's the hard. I mean, I've been coaching here for 5 years now, and every national team or every team that I've coached, the hardest thing to deal with is just situational awareness. Knowing if the ball goes here, I need to move here. If the ball goes here, and all those things, which over time, from playing day after day.
It's just like a scrum in rugby, eh? If you're in the front row, you understand your job. Whereas the kids that are coming in at 13, they don't understand the game of baseball as much yet, eh? So that's where we started here in Wellington, under 13s, which was last season. And our first year it wasn't the biggest success, but it was a success for the Hutt Valley Hornets, mate. They came out and they did the job,
They did an excellent job up at Nationals.
And they put Wellington back on the map in the sport. So, and I think now that because of that, it's more and more numbers coming through.
We've got 2 out in the top of the 6th.
Mr. Wooley's up.
The runner on first brings up the beast, Logan Woolley. Big swing there by Logan. I think Logan's looking to do some damage here, put the ball in the outfield and try and get a run on the board and break this tiebreaker.
For the win tiebreaker ball.
We are 1-1, top of the last
inning. So we just come from our training. We just trained over here so we could be out here at the park and support our clubs and whatnot.
And this is, I mean, for me, seeing this many people here watching this is unreal, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
you
good to
wouldn't
know.
get crowds like this up in Auckland.
Really?
Big swing, strike number 2, the beast, putting a bit of whiff behind it. Yeah, it's really good, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful park out here. I mean, there's so much space.
Oh, what's up? Yeah, space is the key to it, eh?
Yeah.
Build it and the people will come, eh?
So landlocked, it's tough.
Build it and the people will come, man.
They will come.
Yeah, that's the one.
2 strikes, 2 outs. Delivers. Strike number 3.
Good pitch. Well done.
Soper doing everything he can to ensure Auckland have the best opportunity to take out this final here. And beautiful Wellington. Tell you what, I got off the plane today and it was raining and I wasn't sure how we'd do. And look at it, we got the sun is out. Well, the Wellington sun is out, which means through the clouds.
That's the one, man. Home field advantage hopefully prevails.
An amazing game on our hands here. Absolute pitcher's duel. 1-1 ball game. Both starting pitchers are still on the mound in the last inning.
Is this last inning?
This is the last inning.
Here we go,
Auckland
Wellington.
score 1 run, and that is the ball game. After this, we will take to a tiebreaker rule, which puts a runner on second base.
Auckland has a big chance. But Mason is in a roll.
Yeah, he's in the groove.
It's the Mason Carey.
So I'm going to do a quick shout out right now for all our sponsors of the tournament. We've got Strike Entertainment Centre, Crick HQ, Pelorus Trust, Hire Master, the Lanes Bar and Bowling, NZ Travel Brokers, Hutt Valley Hornets Baseball, and RBS Construction and Roofing.
Mike Walsh. Mike Walsh.
Here we go, bottom of the 6th inning. We have a tie ball game.
so years ago, and they have Indonesian Softball Baseball Federation. They work together.
Awesome.
The kids play both, and then they decide which one, as they get older, which they want to focus on.
Exactly.
It works.
It's there to be the same as rugby and rugby union.
Yeah, sure.
Rugby league you play both because you're getting extra time out on the field.
Definitely.
And then when it gets to a point where you need to decide to start to specialise, then make your decision. But no, it's really awesome to see. Ground ball to second base. Close to second.
Oh.
Error by the shortstop.
Wow. Big error there.
So that's huge. That is massive. That puts runners on first and second with nobody out. Tie ball game, bottom of the sixth.
So if Auckland score a run, that is the ball game?
So Auckland score a run, that is them on a trip to Korea. So I just want to make a...
But I agree, I think both organisations need to come together more often and talk it out. And there's always going to be issues, but they can be resolved.
Ground ball past the pitcher. Shortstop feels it, doesn't throw to first. We have one out.
Softball needs to realise, well, some of the people in administration at Softball New Zealand need to realise baseball's not going away. It's growing each year. We've seen that year by year, and it's going to get stronger.
Yep.
So let's formulate partnership how we both benefit.
And I mean, it's even like to the point where instead of working against each other, you don't have to work with each other. We just coexist side by side, doing your thing, letting these kids play sports.
Definitely.
Better than being on the PlayStation or computer.
Yeah,
or TV,
for sure.
Big situation here. Delivers strike.
Good pitch.
The shortstop for Auckland. Everett Parker. Runner at third base. High fastball. Just to set the stage for everyone at home. This runner at third scores. That's the ball game, folks. Pitch.
That's it.
Base hit. Run comes home. And that's the ball game.
Good batting. Good clutch batting.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Little League qualifier for the World Cup in Korea winners is Auckland Baseball. I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in at home just to cheer on or follow your friends and your family. I'd like to thank you for coming and having a chat.
Yeah, great finish.
That was an amazing game of baseball. I mean, that just goes to show how much
2-1 ball game. It's great.
How much baseball's grown here in Wellington or here in New Zealand.
The standard, the pitching, everything. So good. So much improvement over a couple of years.
Big credit to all you kids that played in this tournament this weekend. Excellent job. Baseball was amazing. Win or lose, hold your head up high. I'm Ricky Byway. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next year.
Well done, guys. Good stuff, good stuff.
And then we'll come back and do that a little bit later.
Basically. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. That's what we need in the game. over here,